Welcome to SicEm365 Radio.
What do you call it? When your parents punish you and you can't go outside and you see all your friends outside playing? That's what it's been feeling like.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
100% different. First of all, normally people aren't excited to be at practice in February, so they're excited to be back Sunday.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Well, I think we're used to it from the standpoint when you go to games. First of all, you when the ball's tipped, you know you're playing. So you're really excited when the official gets that ball in the air.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122. For your company's mass COVID testing, log on to impacthealthlabs.com. Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go. SicEm365 Radio, and what is a day in which we have a packed show, an absolutely packed show, and trying to find room for yet another guest. And we'll get to all of that in a moment, but there is a picture and the story that is breaking around the country about 15-time major champion Tiger Woods, who was in an awful one-car accident today in California. This is one of the pictures of his car that apparently swerved through traffic, went down a hill, and may have rolled as many as 4 times, and then landed up against sort of you saw it, there's the front of the car. His agent has confirmed that Tiger is in the emergency room. He's in surgery, multiple leg injuries. He's coming off back surgery on December the 23rd. I don't know what his status is. The fact is that he's alive is a miracle, and you wonder about whether or not there will be any other issues with him, of course, and his ability to walk or, of course, golf right now seems to be the last thing that matters if he's alive. And that's the picture right there from one of the local TV stations in Los Angeles. He was there over the weekend because he hosted the tournament, the Genesis Invitational at Riviera Country Club in L.A.
Yeah, there's so many thoughts going through my head. Glad that he's alive, very glad that he's alive, and hoping that it's not as severe as it looks, and kind of golf's the last thing for me. I just want Tiger to be able to live a productive life after this. Yep. It's a scary looking thing. I'm glad he's okay, for one. That's the most important thing. And, number two, I hope this was simply his phone dropped between the seats and he took his eye off the road, or a dog ran out in front and he tried to swerve and miss it, because I think everybody's thinking the same thing. Mm-hmm. Especially if you saw him this past weekend, a lot of people are trying to correlate the fact that he looked really tired. His face was all puffy. Yep. His eyes were red, and he just didn't look great on TV. And that could have been just hanging out and partying. But then this happens days later, and his history, and there's people asking questions. And I know I've seen many responses of how dare you ask that question right now? All this should matter. It's a fair question. It's an absolutely fair question. And I hope that that's not what it is a return to painkillers and what's ailed him in the past, because that would be just such a massive setback in life. Forget golf, but it's in life for him, considering where he was, just not that long ago, winning the Masters again, and everything seemed like it was, kind of getting back into order in his life. So, fingers crossed that it was just, some strange accident that occurred that can happen, from time to time, and that ultimately he's okay and can live a productive life afterwards. Well, that's one of the stories. Of course, that's going to dominate most of the national news, but there's also a story that does affect Baylor. And the Big 12 made a decision, although Mack Rhoades will be on with us at 4:20. I've not seen anything officially, I still have the hiccups, officially from the Big 12 Conference, that their game Thursday with West Virginia is not going to be played. Now, there's nothing yet official from Baylor and or West Virginia and or the conference. Mack will join us today at 4:20 to decide or let us know the decision that might be there. This is the schedule we have. Sam Houston State football coach Casey Keeler, also Dylan Meek, the mayor of Waco, Mack Rhoades, AD,
4:20, John Jacobs, Baylor assistant men's basketball coach. At 4:45, they're playing Iowa State tonight. And then also Cody Mladenka. He'll join us from College Park, who committed to Baylor. He'll join us today at 5:15. David Hellman at 5, and then also John McClain at 5:35. And I'm going to try to find a way magically, as Baylor's women's golf team has won their 5th consecutive tournament, to try to get somebody on for that if we possibly can. That, of course, we'll figure out how we can do that. So there's the Tiger Woods wreck. But the West Virginia game, damn it. That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, my God, and it's not a COVID related. Then again, a lot of it is because so many games have been pushed back. It's like, why would you not play that game? Now, I heard about there's again, Matt Norlander, who's a very respected national writer, been on this show. There's concerns about health of playing that many games in a short amount of time. They might play 5 or 6 games in 2 weeks. I'm not trying to be like numb here. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask the teams, but it's the concern of some of the teams having to play, 6 games in 11 days or something like that, or 12 days. And, that I don't know. Going into the Big 12 tournament, I do think at this point, this is why you have the debate over the necessity of the conference tournament outside of the money. Outside of the money, what's the necessity of it?
It's very clear that this is all just money. Like, it's so clear. I mean, 2 weeks ago when Baylor was having their issues, and, at that time, you would think Mack would be leading the charge to not have a conference tournament. He's like, no, there's going to be a conference tournament. A week later, they're scrambling to try to find enough games to meet a threshold. And no, we're still going to have a conference. Like, screw the conference tournament. But we all know why the conference tournament matters. Not because it's going to get more teams into the tournament, even though that'll be used as an excuse as to why. Because I think who's in is probably in at this point, and maybe there's a bubble team or two, but we pretty much know who's going to be in. And there's going to be like 7 Big 12 teams in there. 5 we can say for sure right now, at least 5. So it's all money. It's just money. It's the only reason they're playing this tournament. And I get it to an extent. You had this tournament wiped out last year. You had March Madness wiped out last year. Football was weird. So, money has become an issue. I guess that's the driving force, because I don't know what else would be, because it's not the let's tune up for the tournament. Well, then why are you moving games in the week before the Big 12 tournament? And then teams get, okay, let's spread it out. How about you cancel the conference tournament? Instead of Baylor playing 6 games in 10 days, they can play 6 games in 14 days. But no, you can't do that, because we got to play this Big 12 tournament. Like, I don't get the Big 12 tournament importance outside of the money factor. So that's to me all that is. And yeah, it sucks that this West Virginia game's not being played again. And hopefully the Big 12 will have a good explanation as to why, because apparently Norlander had to come out because a bunch of people were like, oh, well, Baylor's ducking West Virginia, which is silly. Baylor's trying to protect their number 1 seed, which is silly. And all these things. And it does make them look bad, because this game's been canceled again. So the Big 12, the faster they can get out and actually explain what's going on, would be better for Baylor, in my opinion.
By the way, Grayson Grunhaver just put up that Kendall Brown, the recruit from for Baylor commit, has been offered. He's now a McDonald's All-American. That is official. Yeah, it sucked because it's social media at its best and worst. They're dodging. They could lose a couple of games and still be the number 1 seed. They dominate people. But again, they have been on delay twice. They've had their best games postponed and canceled. They still have that game early in the year against Texas, a home game that has never been made up.
Well, we've heard that from multiple sports across multiple teams this year of this game is canceled because this team is dodging. And I don't know if there's a team in America that dodges a game for any reason other like. You go to school to play ball, it's silly.
Giving them even more. So, they're not dodging anything. The Big 12 made this decision. Yeah. My question is why? So Mack Rhoades will join us today at 4:20. Why? Well, I don't get it. I don't get 5, 6 games in 14 days, 12 days. That just seemed to be, I'm sure there's a really legitimate reason, but that seems to be a little bit soft. And it's not Baylor, and it's not West Virginia. It's a combination of everybody. Guys go play these tournaments as young high school players. Sometimes they'll play 4 or 5 games in a weekend. So there's got to be something else to it. If, in fact, if it's ever confirmed, if the Big 12 ever releases the game itself, will not be played. But Matt Norlander is very good at what he does, so we'll see. And Mack will join us today at 4:20. So here is Scott Drew, and it kind of lends to this because he was asked about what's next. They have Iowa State tonight, thank goodness. Then it was going to be West Virginia, then at Kansas on Saturday, and Scott Drew was asked about how they proceed as the rest of the year or regular season moves on.
As far as, let's just go to the second one. The Big 12 is, they're in charge of all the scheduling. And so I don't know who we're playing, when we're playing. I'm sure we'll all find out at the same time on social media when they release that. So that answers as far as the remaining schedule for us. And the Big 12 did a great job planning by us playing games in December so that we could have a week to make up games at the end of the year. So give them credit for thinking ahead and the working group that put that together. As far as reaching out to other coaches, it's definitely earlier. We had one of these right before the Kansas State game, and at that point I did a lot more of reaching out to other coaches that had gone through pauses, shutdowns, non-practices, whatnot, and just to see what everybody was doing. As far as this one, not as much, just because we were dealing with the snowstorm and all the other stuff too. And we do have some experience of coming back after a layoff. So again, I can tell you one thing, and that is for anyone that's used to working out though, whenever you're used to working out and you're used to being in a routine, and then if you take 2 weeks or 3 weeks away from that, you're not coming back and being right where you were at before. So again, we know that the long game of this is hopefully come March, we're able to be healthy and continue to grow from this past Sunday on to being at our best.
That's Scott Drew. Now, Jared Butler also met with the media.
Well, I got a note here. Brian Davis has somehow found Texas's 3 makeup games already, although I haven't seen anything, and they're not going to play Baylor a second time. So,
okay, which would have been in Waco.
But we got the Big 12 needs to come out and say whatever they're trying to do here, because they're suddenly talking about, according to Matt Norlander, switching around the schedule. But this has got Texas playing 3 games in 5 days. At Iowa State on March 2nd, at Oklahoma on March 4th, and at TCU on March 7th. So 3 road games between March 2nd through the 7th.
Which is what West Virginia would have had this week at Texas, at Baylor, and then at TCU.
So what am I missing here?
So at TCU would be tonight. They were at Texas Sunday, whenever it was, Saturday or Sunday, and then playing Baylor on Thursday.
I think because they need, like, if it's playing too many games all right together, that's one thing. Or is it playing the right amount of games so that you get to a steady league average and then into the conference tournament? That to me would be a better explanation.
But that's Texas playing 3 games. They've played 3 or 4 more games than Baylor.
That I don't know.
And it can't be like you're playing too much, because this is 3 games in 7 days, and it's in Ames, Iowa, Norman, Oklahoma, and Fort Worth. So it's not like they're even at home.
And I don't see anything from the Big 12 at all.
Well, it's Brian Davis, so he's the one that tweeted it out.
Well, it means he got it from somebody within the Texas program. That's great. We've reached out, of course. Baylor has not yet responded yet, and they're playing. I think it's a game day for them as well, so not sure exactly how that comes about. And Mack Rhoades can help us with all of this. The West Virginia game, if it's not played. And let's not forget now, Matt Norlander reported this, but the Big 12, nobody has actually said that's the case. I would have believed that Matt Norlander's got pretty good information.
Yeah, and that was 4 hours ago when he did that. He did that 4 hours ago, so I was expecting by the time we hit the air to have something from the Big 12. But, it can't be a matter of playing too many games in too many days, because you just rescheduled Texas to play 3 road games in 5 days. So that makes no sense. Can't be – maybe it's a league average thing. I don't know. But, I'm curious to hear. I'm curious to hear what the reasoning is and what the schedule looks like. But Baylor's not going to play Texas a second time, so that win down in Austin was their one and only matchup this year, at least as the way it stands right now.
All right, so also, that's interesting. 3 straight road games, and none of them, you're going all the way to Ames, then you're going to Norman, and that's interesting to see what might happen with Baylor. Some of you have responded. Scotty B., I agree with Craig. We need answers quickly on the Big 12. Daniel, by the way, on the Tiger Woods crash, he goes, looks bad. It looks almost like the drive hit a train broke, or the drive train broke, praying for him. And also from T-Rex, basketball is back, must control what we can. As Sarah Connor famously said, fate is what you make it. Just play the games we can, win by whatever, continue the path to glory, fulfill the prophecy, Sic'em. That's from T-Rex.
Is that a Terminator reference?
I was just going to offer Smokey all the money in my wallet if he could have named that, and you ruined it for him.
254-339-1122. Your thoughts. Call us. Let us know on the text line. We have an open segment up until 3:30 today. Your thoughts if you saw the video or even the pictures of Tiger and the wreck where he's lucky if he's even alive, which apparently he's in surgery and multiple leg injuries. Here you go. Jody Lehman just put out, here's the schedule. Here's the adjustments. Next week, Baylor on Tuesday will play at West Virginia. Baylor on Saturday will host Texas Tech. They will be Thursday at home against Oklahoma State. So Baylor will then play this Saturday at Kansas, tonight against Iowa State. Still no word exactly about West Virginia. That would have been a home game. And then next week, they will be at West Virginia on Tuesday, Thursday at home against Oklahoma State, and then Sunday, at home against Texas Tech. That's 3. Those are all 3 grinders. In fact, Kansas on the road, that's 4 consecutive grinders. Baylor needs to play those games. It's interesting, though, that the West Virginia game at home has been, if it's canceled, but they're going to go play the game in Morgantown. But the Texas schedule, as you mentioned, is interesting because they have 3 consecutive road games that they'll close out the season.
Baylor and West Virginia have each canceled each other, right? Because the first time West Virginia was their COVID issues.
Yes.
And then the second time was Baylor's COVID issues.
So they have, according to what we know, facts, and I don't see anything about Thursday's game with West Virginia, but it appears as if we know they're going to play 5 games between now and the end of the regular season, would get them to 14. That's a key number, but the possibility there could be 6th, although it does appear. There you go. Great job. There's the schedule. Tuesday the 2nd, Baylor at West Virginia. That's an afternoon game, which was going to be an afternoon game on Thursday of this week. Thursday at home against Oklahoma State. And then Sunday they play at home against Texas Tech at a 3 o'clock start at the Farrell Center.
Well, there you go.
They were listening to us.
Yeah. So they only canceled the one game, which was West Virginia.
It appears, yes. Yeah.
So, again, why?
Yeah, West Virginia-Baylor game for Thursday, the 25th, has been canceled. I don't know. We'll have to ask Mack Rhoades why that is the case. West Virginia was going to play 3 consecutive games on the road. Texas is going to play 3 consecutive games on the road. And if they would have put Baylor on the road next week, that wouldn't have made any sense because they've already had an inordinate amount of their games have been road games compared to home games in the Big 12. The good news we know, Iowa State at Kansas, at West Virginia, home against Oklahoma State, home against Texas Tech. That's it, right? 254-339-1122. Your thoughts about how they have Baylor setting up the last 2 weeks of the regular season.
Well, I guess my thoughts are, for one, I'm glad you're going to get to go to Morgantown. That's a place where it's been a real bugaboo for you. And, if you were to place a bet on the game they're most likely to lose of their 6 remaining, then I'd probably have to put that one at the very top, although that Kansas game at the end of the week is going to be tough. But, Oklahoma State with Cade Cunningham can be dangerous. Mike Boynton's a good coach, and Texas Tech is a very competitive team as well. So you're not, dodging anybody. You're getting 3 pretty good teams, and you're getting that road trip to Morgantown. So if you go in and you win that one, there's not going to be a whole lot for many people to say out there. But that's good to know now, and I guess we'll hear more from Mack on kind of what went into the cancellation of the West Virginia game this week. That's the thing. That's the part I still just don't quite understand, especially if you're going and announcing 3 games for next week. So it's like I don't know. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but we'll hear it later, and now we know.
So they'll only go through this year of playing West Virginia, Texas, and TCU once. Because it doesn't look like they're going to make up the TCU and Texas games at this point.
Yeah. Or the West Virginia game. Yeah. So, all right. We wanted answers. We got them. At least we know exactly what's going on. Gunny, 4 games in 8 days with at Kansas and at West Virginia, and a home day later is BS for home games. Scotty, glad we can play 3 more games after this week, help get Baylor ready for the NCAA tournament and the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City as well. So we appreciate your feedback. 254-339-1122. 11-22. And if anything else occurs, I'm sure it probably won't. On Tiger, the fact, just pray for him if you're a Tiger fan or not. You hate to see it. Let's go to the phone lines on SicEm365 Radio.
All right, Steven in Virginia, you're on the Impact Health Labs caller line. Thanks for your call.
Hey, guys, you got me?
Yep.
All right, so I think I need to stay off social media for the rest of the day because the rest of the Big 12 has already decided that this was already in the bag, fixed for Baylor. In a year where people are losing their homes and, you know, the state is under ice or was under ice for a majority of 10 days and all this stuff, the conspiracy in the world is taking an undefeated team and making sure that they're the Big 12 champion. You know, all these other Big 12 teams can't even beat each other, much less Baylor. Because the last time I checked, every single other school has at least 4 losses. Nobody's played Baylor 4 times. A lot of these schools can't even beat each other. Sitting here talking about it's fixed. And this is the problem that I think I'm always going to have with the Big 12, is that this is the kind of stuff that happened in 2014 when they didn't protect us. And look, I may have been mad about the Big 10 for shielding Ohio State, but that was their job. That was what was good for revenue and good for business. And look, I get it. This is not really the best comparison, but if Vanderbilt ran the table and won the SEC, I'm sure the people in the SEC would be mad too, claiming it was fixed somehow. I know that's not the best comparison, but this is the best basketball conference in America. We are not a traditional power, so of course it's fixed for us. I hear Kansas fans saying that. We beat them 2 out of 3 times. I just want to – I wish we could stop that narrative because it's a lot of anti-Baylor rhetoric that goes around this conference for many, many years. I'll let y'all go and get off my hot box.
Thank you very much, Stephen. I could tell you're hyper about it. I get it. A lot of people are. You know how you get off, you stop worrying about it, you don't talk about it. You don't let what other people are saying get to you, although, hey, I'm the worst at that at times myself, just on something that might be popped up on Twitter. So whatever anyone's saying, screw them. The hell with them. If they think Baylor's ducking people, okay, fine. But we know they're not. We know the Big 12 is the one that made the decisions, and for whatever reason, we'll find out why Thursday's game at home against West Virginia was canceled.
Apparently, it says in their release they did not want teams playing 3 games in back-to-back weeks. So that's simply what it is.
There you go.
And, I mean, I would think that you'd want to play 3 this week and not next week. That's what's kind of weird to me is, like, you want to play the most amount of games in 1 week, the week before the Big 12 tournament. Like, I don't know.
How many games are they going to play if you were to win and keep in the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City? How many games do you have to win the tournament in how many days?
You have to win at least 3.
And maybe consecutive days in some cases,
I mean,
right?
And look, if you play the first day, you got to win 4.
Yeah.
So,
you're a playing team,
so, I just don't understand. Like, if you're going to drop a game, I would think you would have just played the 3 this week and then dropped a game next week or just announced 2 new games. Because you were scheduled to play West Virginia already. Mm-hmm. So then go play 2 teams next week. You have a regular week before the conference turn. Like, you see what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I understand.
But instead, you're dropping a game that was being played in 2 days.
Yeah, you know how the NBA has that deal now about being the loaded minutes? So you should go backwards. 3 games this week, 2 next week, and then maybe you play 1 or you play 2, 3, or 4 at the tournament, and then you're ready for the tournament. Let's get one more call in, then we got to hear from Sam Houston. We're going to hear from Sam Houston State head football coach Casey Keeler.
All right, to T-Rex, you're on SicEm365 Radio on the Impact Health Labs caller line.
Hey, I just had to call in after y'all breaking that great news about the schedule release there. You are correct about the reference. That was a Terminator reference, and I would have loved to have seen Smokey try to guess that movie.
My bad.
Anyways, I just want to know where all that energy is from all those West Virginia fans from this morning. I mean, they were running their mouths all morning, talking about we're ducking them, we're hiding, we're scared to play them, we keep canceling, negating the fact that their own coach has been crying about the schedule for 2 straight weeks, negating the fact that they canceled on us first. So we said, you know what, I don't even care what Bob Bosley did. I bet Mack Rhoades got on the phone and said, you know what, screw it. We won't play you in Waco. We'll come to your house. I'll see you on Tuesday. And we're going to walk into Morgantown into that stupid little dome of theirs that looks like a freaking oyster shell on top. And we're going to kick their ass. Sick 'em Bears. Talk all that smack because we want all the smoke. Keep that same energy on Tuesday night, West Virginia. I may even see you there if I can find a flight. Sic'em Bears, I'm out.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Baylor does lose, and T-Rex, we obviously know how full throttle passion you are. Baylor does it. They're going to end up playing 14 league games. They're going to lose 3 home games. TCU, Texas, and West Virginia. And that they're already on the other side of that right now with where they have it through 9 games. I think it's like 6-3 or whatever it might be. So they're going to end up losing 3 home games out of this. And then in the Big 12, if they don't want you to play 3 games in back-to-back weeks, okay. Well, now you're going to play 2. And then next week you're going to play 3, and the following week some teams might play 4.
It just doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
But that's okay. Yeah.
I mean, no, like, look, I'm not upset about it. Like, I could care less. I just trying to make sense of.
We have Mack Rhoades to help us do that in an hour.
To lessen the load, and yet you're actually piling on the week prior to the tournament another game. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But anyway, so now you're looking at Iowa State. You've got Kansas now coming up on Saturday, so you at least won't have that quick turnaround from West Virginia that you would have had if you would have played them this week. And KU, I mean, that could be Baylor's first loss right there. I mean, that's in Lawrence too.
Yeah.
So, and then you turn around so you got Lawrence and Morgantown back to back, and you were going to have that I guess West Virginia was going to be here and then to Lawrence, right? Or was it going to be Morgantown?
It was going to be West Virginia this Thursday, back-to-back home games, and then at Kansas. But now it's home tonight. At Kansas, at West Virginia, home Oklahoma State, and then against Texas Tech.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is you've now gone back-to-back with Lawrence and Morgantown. Yep. So that's a tough turnaround.
Go earn it. Go win. Keep winning. You built yourself up a cushion. Go take care of business and win majority of those games, or all of them, or at least if you win 3 out of 5, you're going to win the conference championship, and you could win 4 out of 5, and then just absolutely just blow them out. By the way, ESPN reporting, this is from Bob Herrig, that the injuries that Tiger has, the injuries he suffered, are not life-threatening. They are serious, multiple leg injuries. If you saw the video, again, the car has an accordion look to the front, but police are reporting that they are not thought to be life-threatening. My biggest concern with him is all the back stuff he's had coming off of surgery December 23rd, and then all of a sudden, bam, he hits the proverbial vehicle brick wall, and who knows? Who knows? Neck, back, feet, whatever. So that's the latest on Tiger Woods. When we come back, we had Tarleton State's Todd Whitten on. They've played a couple of games. Sam Houston State's a really good football team. Casey Keeler, he has been successful where he's been, Delaware, now Sam Houston State. He's going to join us about their opening game coming up this weekend. Also today, we'll hear from Mack Rhoades at 4:20. We also have Kevin Gill from MCC. They're 10-0 after destroying Temple last night. Great stuff from him. John Jacobs of Baylor men's basketball, his thoughts about this schedule. David Ellman, John McClain, Cody Madenka from College Park, the latest commit to Baylor. All of that and more. We got Jack. We got Grayson's here in studio. Obviously, Armstrong, Paul Craig, and David Smoak, SicEm365 Radio. They are getting bigger, better, faster, stronger, and they don't even need to be that way. But they are, because as, again, opportunities arise, Pioneer Steel and Pipe is going to have a brand new facility at some point on the corner of Loop 340 and also 12th Street. Pioneer Steel and Pipe since 1943. 1943, and they have survived, and they have thrived, and they have, when they say customer service and great product, you have to have both. And you can't just do one of them pretty well and the other one really well, or you got to be great. 78 years, they're entering their 78th year in business, local company, and they've already fought off the big box companies, steel, metal, pipe, and much more. Metal buildings, if that's what you need, that's what you want to build, then Pioneer Steel and Pipe can help you not only to do that, how to do it, if they also have the product to help you out as well. So if you want anything that's heavy material for building, Pioneer Steel and Pipe, the new location is going to take a while, Loop 340 and 12th Street. Locations in Waco and Bryan open Saturdays 8 till noon, and pioneerboys.com.
1, 2. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with love with Rhoades Tasty Oak Smoked Barbecue.
Next in line.
We've sent the nomination forms to area high school counselors for the 11th annual Academic All-Stars team, and we will find 20 elite student athletes who excel in both academic and athletic competition from Central Texas high schools. Hello, everyone. This is David Smoak. Our title sponsor is Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, protecting Texans since 1952. The 2021 Academic All-Stars program is also brought to you by Westdale Asset Management, Englander Design Pack, Southwest Sports Medicine, Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Coca-Cola of Waco, Ray Broker Air Conditioning and Heating, Texas Sports Hall of Fame, HEB, the McLean Group, Universal Windows Direct, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, and the Waco Foundation are 501c3. Nomination deadlines March 31st. We'll eventually announce the team on Monday, May 3rd. Honor them at our annual banquet on Wednesday, May the 19th. It's the 11th annual Academic All-Stars team highlighting the elite student athletes in Central Texas right here on SicEm365 Radio.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Are you ready to say big on a new 2020 Chrysler 300 Touring? A car with superior craftsmanship and quality. During the President's Day event at Allen Samuels, say big and drive a new 2020 Chrysler 300 Touring with special values of $7,250 or 0% for 72 months and $2,000 in combo cash right now. Visit the customer award-winning Allen Samuels located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco to see the incredible 2020 Chrysler 300 Touring. It's the best President's Day event going on now at Allen Samuels, your friend in the car business. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio Live Guest VIP Hotline is sponsored by Stonewood Dental. We are all in this together.
By the way, Jeff Goodman has an article up, and it is phenomenal on Baylor and how they built the team they have. Baylor tonight at home against Iowa State. We just spent the first 25 to 30 minutes about the schedule changes, and Jeff Goodman wrote himself one hell of a piece about how everything kind of came together. From those they brought in as freshmen, to those who have transferred, to those who have been patient, to those looking for an opportunity, and how it all mixed together like a big old beautiful pot of gumbo. We'll hear from Casey Keeler, Sam Houston State head football coach, here momentarily. So that Jeff Goodman's going to join us on Thursday as well and discuss his article. And by then, we'll at least know one game. I was hoping maybe Thursday right before West Virginia, but of course, that is not the case as well. So All right, we're waiting to get everything set up with Casey Keeler. He's not available right now. Working on that technology thing as well. But they're starting, and Sam Houston State, of course, is pretty much run the Southland Conference when it comes to football. Now, of course, they'll be a part of that move to the WAC. Yesterday, Jay Stidman, head coach at UT Rio Grande Valley, joined us. They're already a part of the WAC. A lot of Central Texas players signed with Sam Houston State. Zach Robotchik, Michael Murray Lampasas. Robotchik, of course, the running back from Troy. And we'll get into that with Casey Keeler here momentarily as well.
Some kid named Kavion. You said Kavion Gaither?
Gaither from Connolly. I'm not sure who has signed and who has committed. No, they've all signed because it was back in February. That's right. I kind of get lost in that timeline because so much happened in December, but we're past that second timeline as well, that first Wednesday in February. So, okay, on that. All right, let's see here. Jimmy Thompson's the new head football coach at Dawson. He's the one that was at Crockett. He's been a lot of different places, won a state championship at Garrison. High school football note, he's the new head coach at Dawson. He's from that area.
Highkill has a new one too, don't they?
Yeah, he came out of, I think it was one of the nice programs up in the Dallas and Fort Worth area as well.
So have we seen as many high school coaching changes as normal, or is it slowed down due to the pandemic?
It's pretty high. It's pretty high. You know, if you follow Matt Stepp, who does a good job with it, I focus in on East and Central Texas. But, both the schools in Waco, 5A and 6A schools in Waco have filled theirs, but I think it's still pretty high. So on average, it seems to be pretty much about a couple of hundred a year out of 1,200. It's about 16 to 20%. And I don't know what the number is right now. Maybe not that high, but it's pretty much still up there quite a bit. Some of the other reactions from you on the text line, Brandon, by the way, amen to T-Rex. People are hot. You get emotional, what people might suggest, but what else are they going to do on Twitter? What do we expect?
What was Twitter invented for?
They're 9-0, 17-0. They've obliterated everybody in the conference. Why would you care anyway if somebody says Baylor's dodging somebody? You know that's not true. Don't let it even, by giving them attention, you're giving them attention.
You know how much time, this is true, you know how much time I've actually spent sitting and reading Twitter in the last week. Now, granted, the power being out, I had to kind of conserve my phone a little bit, so there was a couple of days there. But I promise you, I've spent less than 20 minutes on Twitter in the last week.
I bet you're probably in a better space.
Oh, my God. Why do I need to see Red Raider for Life 22 telling me that Baylor's, I don't care what he has to say. I don't know who that person is, nor does their opinion matter to me. And, that's not to say that every opinion I see, it's like, oh, that doesn't matter. But when somebody's clearly trolling or clearly just has a dumb opinion, then, it's kind of nice to just not even have come across it or to not even really care about it too much. So that's what I would do if I was Baylor fans. I mean, that's one thing about being at the top is you're always going to be the target, and people are going to want to shoot arrows at you and try to make you look less than what you really are, try to diminish your success, and that's what haters do. I mean, really, that's what haters do. So let them be haters. That means you're doing something right. If they weren't talking trash about you, then, look, they're talking trash because you're undefeated in the lead to win the league. That's why people are talking trash.
There was a little bit of smoke, of course, when Texas Tech, Baylor was going to play them this past weekend. Texas Tech needs to worry about Texas Tech. Yeah. They're now 4-8 in quadrants 1 and 2. Now, some people love the quadrant look, and some people don't care. And below 500 in the Big 12. They've lost some close games, but so has Texas. So have a lot of teams. They're now they were 32nd in strength of record entering the day. They were beaten again last night by Oklahoma State. They are a 4 seed in that first reveal release, and there's now a chance they might slide into a 5 or 6 seed. And even a lot of the national writers started chirping a little bit about why are they ranked so high based on who they are in the Big 12 conference.
Yeah, look in the mirror a little bit. And the dumb thing that I keep seeing is, Baylor's not going to play this one game so they can somehow protect their number 1 seed or whatever the case may be. They can lose the game and they'll still be a number 1 seed. Like, it's not as though they have to go undefeated to be a number 1 seed. So, I would think with Scott Drew and company would love to go undefeated, certainly in the regular season, but at the same time, I think they're doing what's best for their basketball team, and it's not a matter of, being perfect or looking a certain way.
Well, we couldn't quite work out the Zoom thing, but we want to make sure Sam Houston State, they open up this weekend. Casey Keeler, who's done a great job wherever he has been. Amazing record at Delaware is where he's been at Sam Houston State since 2014. Casey Keeler, the Bearcats head coach, joins us on SicEm365 Radio. Coach, thank you very, very much for joining us. We had Todd Whitten on a couple of weeks ago. They've already played 2 games. What is it like to be ready for a season or getting ready for a season in February?
Well, and, we were getting ready last week to play, and then we had 4 days without heat and water and electricity, and then you're just really more worried about, your players. I mean, we have half of our team in apartments that had no heat. We were down to 5 degrees at one time. So last week was really interesting. And then our kids have handled things so well, from the pandemic to playing a spring season to losing your offensive line coach and defensive line coach within 3 weeks of the start of the season, which we knew might happen because I have a history of losing really good football coaches. Matt Palich is your special teams coordinator. Matt was one of my guys here. And so there's been a lot of kind of adversity to work through, and our kids have been great. I think it's to play a football game.
Coach, if you lose good coaches, it still means you hire good coaches. So it means you got a skill there. Now, how different was it conditioning-wise and trying to keep the team in shape to play a spring season?
Yeah, I really thought that we came back in the summertime really in poor shape. And what you realized was that the guys couldn't get into their high school weight rooms. They were getting kicked out of the park, because of the pandemic, so we got our guys back, and I was like, well, I'm kind of glad we're not playing the season because we're not in very good shape. And I think our strength coach has done a phenomenal job, and I think we're ready to play. And the way we're doing it is we're not playing any out-of-conference games. We're going to play 6 games, and the hope is we have some bye weeks built into our schedule, and the hope is that it's going to limit the wear and tear so you can go play a fall season only a couple of months or 3 or 4 months after, your season ends in the springtime. So it's going to, we don't hit a lot. We're just very cautious about making sure we try to keep our guys healthy. And we are cautious that we're going to roll into a fall season not too long after spring season's over.
Coach, how have your players just handled all of the changes and all of the just different things that have been going on in life over the last year? How have they held up, and do you sense that they're chomping at the bit to put the pads on and go play another team, perhaps even more so than they would back in the fall because of this long wait?
Yeah, I'm one of those glass half full guys. In fact, I think my family says I'm that glass overflowing guy. And so I put a positive spin on it. We had so many players that needed a red shirt, and I'm like, listen, all of you guys who are true seniors, you get that red shirt now. And so I think a lot of our guys are really excited to, see if getting bigger, stronger, and faster could give them that chance to maybe play the next level, play in the NFL with this extra year. So we have 4 or 5 of our best players that really could have used the red shirt. We got that red shirt for them now. This is a great way to prep for a fall season. But at the same time, we are playing for a championship. And that's one of the things that Sam Houston decided on is that we weren't going to play money games in the fall. We were going to take a shot at seeing if we could win a championship. We won 99 games the last 10 years, second most in all of FCS. The key thing off our resume is a national championship. And those things are really hard to get, especially with the likes of North Dakota State and James Madison in your division. But that's the goal of the program. And that's kind of what the mentality is. And that's why I think our kids are really excited to get this the spring season started.
Well, it's about to start. You also, didn't you have Neil Brown, who's at West Virginia, on staff at Delaware? Is that correct?
I did. He's my wide receiver coach. Kyle Flood, the new coordinator at Texas, was my offensive line coach. So yeah, I've done a pretty good job of hiring guys, and I'm always excited for them when they get a chance to move on. It means that they've helped me win, and again, it's a great profession that we're in when you get a chance to help these great young coaches move on and have some success.
Now, you also and Sam Houston State's done a nice job of this in Central Texas. Kavion Gaither from Conley, Zach Robotchik, the explosive running back, of course, from Troy, Michael Murray, wide receiver, Lampasas. You've gotten guys from this area, both when you've been here, but also even before that. How important is the Central Texas clump to you as far as recruiting?
Yeah, I think when you get here, you realize that it's maybe the best location in America for recruiting. You can't draw a better 3.5 hour radius than we can in the entire country. The other thing I realized real early on was that we need to focus on Texas and Texas and Texas and Texas. So we might take a couple of transfers from out of state, but our high school recruiting is 99% Texas. We might get a Louisiana kid every now and then, or Oklahoma kid that came to one of our camps and we saw them in person. But just being able to drive out and see guys play Friday nights and get a relationship with the high school coaches, and it's all been a blessing. And one of the things that's really helped us this past year is that we're putting $15 million into our facility. You want to have some fun, come to Huntsville at 7:30 in the morning and watch a group of 100 players walk into the game field with their helmet and shoulder pads on. It's like watching Pee Wee football all over again because we don't have a locker room. We're putting $15 million into our facility in the end zone. And, we knew that one of the prices of doing business was we weren't going to have locker rooms for the spring. And it almost worked out well with the pandemic. So maybe going in locker rooms wasn't the best thing anyway. But the other thing was that we needed a new facility so badly. I was going to make whatever sacrifice, and the players were going to make whatever sacrifice we had to. So, it's kind of funny when you pull up and you see all the guys walking to practice, in the morning with their helmets and shoulder pads on.
Yeah, that's like a moving locker room, I guess, in a mobile locker room. All right, so you also we had Mike. We had Ryan Ivey, the AD at Stephen F. Austin, about the merger, the realignment, including the WAC. How exciting is that? It's going to be. We had a coach from UT Rio Grande Valley, the basketball coach Jay Stedman, on yesterday. That's going to be a hell of a basketball conference. But your thoughts about the football conference and merger as well?
Well, we knew there could be some trying, situations that first year, and we went through those. Actually, I think we came out pretty well on the other side in terms of, finding games. And so we've just picked up Jacksonville State and Eastern Kentucky, and Central Arkansas is going to play us next year. So we're combining with the Atlantic Sun for 1 year, so we can have enough teams to have an AQ. But moving forward, bringing Southern Utah in, and the teams that from Texas, Tarleton and Sam Houston and Lamar and Stephen F. Austin, and we're all very like-minded in that we all want great football, and so I think this is going to be a phenomenal football conference. And with the possibilities that we could be a Division I conference down the road. So I think that's really exciting. I think there was some navigating going through this, and I think we navigated ourselves into a good position.
Craig asked you earlier about how the players have handled it. Have you ever seen anything like it with what we saw a year ago start to approach us when it comes to COVID, and then the icy conditions? And then the social injustice and a lot of what we saw during the spring and summer, which is carried into even the end of the year. You ever seen anything? All
the
these
election.
Things. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, and politically, have you ever seen all these things kind of just converge together like we've seen the last 12 months?
Well, it's interesting. I really think the racial injustice. We actually did a racial injustice education program with our players. And we do a lot of team bonding and building stuff, but you really can't do a lot of that stuff because, you don't have the locker room. You don't have the same in-person kind of things. But what we found is by educating ourselves on racial injustice, we've done these Zoom meetings, pretty much every Wednesday, about 12 to 15 players, 2 coaches, and we bring up very uncomfortable conversations and topics. And it's really actually brought us very close and really brought the whole team together. So it's amazing how, situations like we just had this past week with the weather, it bonded the players and the coaches. I mean, we're making sandwiches. We're getting the guys soup. There was no food. There was no restaurants open in town. Kids didn't have a way to make food, so we found a way to make food and get it to them. All those I see as opportunities. And I think we had an opportunity going through what we've gone through with all the things you mentioned to kind of bring this team closer together. So even though it's not been a typical way that you would develop chemistry with a team, I think these hard times have brought a team very close together. I'm excited to watch us play on Saturday.
Well, good luck managing as you start with Southeastern Louisiana. They're ranked. Nichols, of course, ranked. McNeese is ranked. They beat Tarleton. And Sam Houston State, you guys are plenty. Everyone knows what your history is well. Casey, thanks for your time. We'll be in touch again as the season gets moving in.
All right, guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
sorry I'm so technologically unsound, but I appreciate you taking my phone call.
If it would have been between you and me on Zoom, we would have just done the phone call because I'm the same way. So I get it. Thanks,
right.
Casey. Appreciate it. Appreciate that very much. And that's Sam Houston State football coach Casey Keeler. He's really good. He's got a great record at Delaware and now at Sam Houston State. When we come back, Kevin Gill, MCC is 10-0. To start the year, including a dominant win against Temple. We'll have him. Also, the mayor of Waco comes into town. He's going to be in studio. Dylan Meek at 4 o'clock. Mack Rhoades at 4:20. We've got questions for him on all the scheduling changes. This is SicEm365 Radio.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T as board-certified physician consultations will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, everyone. This is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like mortgage lending, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Are you a SicEm365 superfan? Then try out our premium subscriptions at SicEm365.com.
Kevin Gill, MCC basketball coach, with us on SicEm365 Radio, and a dominant win last night against Temple. 10-0, 4-0 in the conference and rolling. And, well, heck, I mean, that's what you do, right, Kevin? I know that there have been some on and off struggles, but you really
seem to be right now not peaking, but playing at a tremendous level. Or did you expect that this early with your team?
Well, I didn't know our guys would come around as fast as they have and bought in as well as they have defensively, but they really have, and you know, they're a great group to coach, and they really like each other, and they play for each other, and they really enjoy being a part of something that could be special.
When you made the comment that you didn't know if they would buy in this early defensively, it reminded me of something I just heard about Kansas with Bill Self. You know, they've had a tough year for their standards, and they've now won like 5 or 6 games in a row. And one of the things I read was that they bought in defensively, which has always been the key. Yeah, they have guys who can score, NBA talent, whatever, but it's you're hearing that more and more. I think that's something that you hear more and more often. Is that something you kind of see as well?
Yeah. It's because, you know, one thing that travels is defense.
Yep.
You know, offensively, you're not going to be able to put the ball in the hole every night. The guys, to me, aren't as skilled as far as, you know, dribbling, passing, and shooting as today. But one thing that you can do that requires energy and effort and heart is defense. And one thing I've noticed over the years, you go down and watch Baylor. I watched them practice a lot. Then I watched the University of Houston. Those guys, and we've always done it too, but it's hard to get guys to completely buy in. But once they buy in and see how easily that your defense can turn into your offense, then they start to understand at a higher level. And, you know, Houston, I mean, they're grimy. I mean, they are a really tenacious defensive team. Baylor, same way. Their guards can really switch on anybody, and then their post guys can get out and switch and hard heads, and which makes the game a whole lot easier. And that's why, you know, a lot of people think Gonzaga has the best team, and they got probably the most skillful team, but I think Baylor has the most grimiest team out of the two. And, you know, in the end, I think just when you get in a fist fight like that, sometimes the grimier dude wins.
Yeah, and you obviously have had great success. And without getting away from talking about you and MCC, but this is Scott Drew, a guy that was very good, kind of like not quite as good, but had the reputation as a great zone defensive team. But this is a change in mentality. How hard is it to get players to understand man-to-man pressure, man-to-man defense is what really can be a difference maker?
Well, it's tough because, you know, every morning they turn on SportsCenter and they're looking at the top 10, and it's not about defense. It's about somebody making a half-court shot or somebody making the best dunk of the week or, you know, or one of those type of plays. But defense is the unsung hero, and but a lot of times defense leads to those plays that are highlight plays. So the one thing, you know, we try to preach is, you know, if 5 guys are really guarding and playing and defending, you know, other guys that are practicing that's on the bench, they're probably going to get an opportunity to do the same thing because, you know, in a close game, the bench is, you know, a little more tighter than when you up about 20 when you can play everybody. So if everybody's really getting after it and getting it done, the more opportunity for playing time is there as well.
You know, you guys you just dominated Temple. And when I called you last night on your way back, I mentioned that you scored over 100, and you've done that before. And the first thing you said was, well, yes, because our defense created easy points and opportunities for us. And it's just that I love that because someone sees a score of 100 whatever to 62, they think, man, they had 3 or 4 guys score 20 plus, and yeah, that might be the case, but it's because you set up easy points. It's like a team in football that the defense sets up short fields, or special teams give you short fields with returns or blocks or whatever.
Oh, yeah, and we had 2 guys with 18 points last night, 2 guys with 15, and another one with 13. So we had 5 guys in double figures, but the stat I like the most, Temple, they shoot a lot of threes. They made 10 threes, but they only made 9 twos last night. We held them to like 29% shooting. So they made 10 3-pointers and 9 2-point field goals. So that's pretty good defense there. And it turned into a lot of fast break opportunities. I think we had like 22 fast break points at the half, and we held them to 30 points, but they hit 2 threes right before the half, and they ended up with 30 at halftime. And our goal when we play Temple is if we can hold them under 80 points. And we actually did, and I felt that if we can hold them under 80, we have a good shot at winning the game. And the guys played hard, and Temple has a good ball club, but, I don't think they were mentally prepared for what happened to them last night on the defensive end, which our defense, we actually, on Sunday, we watched a little bit of University of Houston and Cincinnati game, and, I just told them, these guys have bought in at the University of Houston. If you guys buy in at a high level, you can be similar to that as a defensive group.
Kevin Gill, head basketball coach at McLennan Community College. The Ranger, tomorrow night, then you play at Grayson. They're off to a pretty nice little start. They haven't played as many games. You've had amazing success over your career in high school and what you've done at MCC. You've won that conference, that part of the conference title many times, but it's such a difficult region to get through. You did get the at-large bid, 4 years ago or so, to get to Hutchinson. I mean, I covered, that I covered Region 14 and what the grind was when they had the North and South zone, and you could be really good and then have to play San Jack. But it's kind of the same thing with you in the region that you're in. How hard is it knowing that you have to get better? Every day you must get better to have a chance to get out of the region?
It's really not hard. It's just a mentality that you have to have, and then it's just a mentality that your team has to take on the persona of the coaching staff. I have 2 really good assistant coaches that do an excellent job, and we try to teach these guys how to play the right way, and not only basketball, and how to live the right life and get the education they need to be successful. Basketball, it's going to play out one day, but we want to really build these kids to be great role models, be great fathers one day, and great husbands. But just getting them to buy in that if you don't put much money in the bank, you can't go and get a lot of money out of it. So whatever you put into it, that's probably what you're gonna get out of it. And if you really listen, and that's the hard part that's probably harder than anything, it's like dribbling, passing, and shooting used to be a really good skill, but listening, you can put that in the category with those that group. Because a lot of kids, they just want to come and play basketball and average a lot of points. And, I mean, they don't really care if they win or not. It's all about them. And if you are not about winning at this place, then you're at the wrong spot. And you probably play. So, just trying to get everybody to buy in, be on the same page, and, try to, be successful in life, really. That's basically what we do.
You have been locked into Waco for quite some time in Central Texas. When you look around at your longevity, your consistency, and you're still very young, do you ever have a chance to kind of reflect on the success you've had?
I really don't think about it much, but what's fun to me is, like, in the summertime, I can go put some old VHS tapes in of my Hubbard days. I coached at Lake Air Junior High, and go watch a little of those films, and then, of course, at La Vega. But, I'm too busy just getting up and down, doing other things to really just sit back and reflect. Maybe talking to some older guys, some mentors that I have. They kind of remind me of some things because they followed me throughout my career. But, I just try to live life every day and try to help these younger guys, younger coaches, and we got some good young coaches coming through Central Texas that's going to be good. And I just want Waco to get back to the way it used to be in basketball. When I was growing up, you could go to a great game every day. It may be one at Marlin. It may be one in Martin, Italy. It could be Hubbard and, Wortham. I mean, you could go to a really good game, and Waco High was always good. University was always good, and now basketball's kind of taking a decline, and we're just hoping it gets back to, those guys, respecting Waco again, because when we were growing up, we would always go to watch Baylor, Paul Quinn College, TSTC, MCC. But, you know, kids, they don't go watch games anymore. When on TV, they're not watching their position. And, you know, those little things motivate you and get you better, but everybody wants to be, you know, to have that highlight play, and everybody thinks they're going to be a pro, but it's a lot of hard work going into it. And, I mean, the more that you can watch it, the more you can be around it, the greater your chances are to being successful.
Yeah, McLennan 10-0 now. They play Wednesday night at home against Ranger at Highlander Gym, and then also Saturday at Grayson to close out February. Kevin, love your philosophy and all of what you've said about bringing success and interest and the focus back to Central Texas. Thanks for your time, and congratulations on the great start. Keep it going.
Appreciate you, Smokey.
Kevin Gill, head basketball coach at McLennan Community College on SicEm365 Radio.
All right, again, MCC will play tomorrow night home against Ranger. Then they play at Grayson. They're 10-0, and they are really good as they hammered Temple, held them to under 70 points, and they were averaging over 100 points a game, and MCC themselves had a 100-point game. And Kevin Gill is an amazing local story. Went to Paul Quinn, obviously has coached at La Vega, has coached at Hubbard, and now, of course, has been successful at McLennan Community College, McLennan College. Now, we're now joined by the mayor of Waco, Dylan Meek. A little bit after this, we'll have Mack Rhoades, Director of Athletics at Baylor. Dylan Meek joins us in studio on SicEm365 Radio. Dylan, thanks for being a part of the show and also in the studio. So, how is Waco, Texas, after the last few days of Mother Nature?
Man, first of all, thanks for having me, guys. And this is my first time in the studio. It's awesome to be here in downtown Waco on the corner of MLK and Elm Avenue. Man, what a great spot for a studio, and it's a thrill to be here with you today. And man, it has been a week. Last week was a challenging week, but I want to tell you, I'm so proud of the city of Waco and the folks here and our city staff and employees for all coming together. I think that, I think the DNA of Waco is to love their neighbors, serve your neighbors, and that's what happened. We saw people bringing food and groceries to their neighbors, delivering firewood to people who needed some of that. And then the most exciting story is Waco didn't have to issue a community-wide boil water notice. And when 14 million Texans were under a community-wide boil water notice, Waco city staff was able to work to prohibit that from happening and making sure that the people in this community had clean, drinkable water. The city of Waco doesn't have any authority or responsibility over electricity or electricity repairs. The utility we do control is water. And by ensuring that the folks in our community were able to have that is a real success story, I believe, and I'm thankful for that. But from our street crews who were sanding the streets to the warming, the Parks and Rec department who set up warming centers, to the firefighters who were picking up people and taking them to warming centers, to our water utilities department who was scouring the city looking for leaks. The fire department and police department were also looking for leaks in streets and saw, I know that some PD were looking for leaks and saw water pouring out of the front doors of a church in the middle of the night. Being able to find those leaks and valve those off ensured that we were able to protect our water supply. And when 40,000 residents of Waco didn't have electricity, it would have been a real problem to go on a boil water notice, especially when the streets were too dangerous to get to a grocery store, and especially when the grocery store shelves didn't have water there anyway. Another cool thing is that Coca-Cola donated 6 18-wheelers full of bottled water, so we were able to distribute those to the members of our community as well as nonprofits who have really good boots on the ground to go and make sure that folks in Waco that have busted pipes or don't have access to clean drinking water for any reason right now, even though we didn't go on that community-wide boil water notice, there's a couple different members of our community who might have a busted pipe and don't have access to water. We're able to make sure that they have access to clean drinking water. And we also were able to give some of that water to communities like Marlin and Belmead and Mart, some of our regional neighbors. So it's really been a great story of the city coming together in a difficult, challenging time. Hopefully, a once-in-a-generation event. Certainly hopeful, the only time in my term to have an event like that. But really thankful for our city coming together and be really proactive and strategic in how we serve each other.
Well, I mean, speaking of your term, I mean, you're in the embryonic stage of your term. I mean, it's barely walking right now because you just started this. How much did you have to lean on people? Because you don't know what you don't know. I mean, you're starting out. I know you've been on the city council for a while, but how much did you have to just start making phone calls of okay, what do we do? Because of this.
Well, I'll tell you what. Any community endeavor is a team sport, and that's the way that the city of Waco works. We have a track record of being collaborative in nature, and I want to say we have a great city staff. Our water utilities department is superb. We have a legacy of years of building out really solid water infrastructure. And again, when 14 million Texans were on a boil water notice, one reason we didn't is because of people that have come before me that made sure that we had sound, good infrastructure in place, and a really bright team of water engineers who knew how to make sure that we were going to be able to keep water flowing through the taps and into people's into their faucets. And so again, we have a great team of people, and then inside the city, but even outside the city, we have nonprofits, foundations, and businesses that rally together in moments like this. Bubba's 33 donated 2,000 vouchers of food valued at $8 a voucher that we were able to distribute at our water distribution site. And other businesses that just showed up and stepped up in that moment. I know Guest Barbecue opened up their restaurant to line workers, Encore line workers, and are planning to treat our water utilities department and other city employees as well later this week or next. And so just businesses and nonprofits and foundations and just neighbors coming up and serving neighbors. And I think that is, again, the DNA of Waco. That is how we that's the culture here. And so it's a real success story in that regard.
Before the pandemic hit, the city was thriving economically. I mean, and now even still, I mean, you walk outside and there's apartment buildings going up left and right over here. I live over by Central Texas Marketplace, and there's a billion buildings going up there, the new Amazon facility. How has the city, you think, come over? And I know the pandemic's not over, but given the circumstances, how do you think the city's done? And is that rush to move to Waco for a lot of businesses still there?
Absolutely. Waco's economy is stronger than it's ever been. We have 2,500 jobs that are coming into the market now, and jobs that pay well. Sorry, that was an incorrect statement. We have 1,500 jobs coming into the market now, and another 1,000 potential jobs in the pipeline for businesses thinking about coming to Waco. These are jobs that pay good wages, that have 401ks, that have health benefits. One of the interesting things about Waco is we have a really low unemployment rate. Before the pandemic, we had a 1.9% unemployment rate. That's basically full employment. But a lot of the jobs didn't pay great. And we have, like I said, 1,500 confirmed jobs, another 1,000 jobs in the pipeline that would come to Waco that would pay excellent wages. Beyond that, we have our housing. So if anything, the biggest, we have good problems. How are we going to fill these jobs? We have a housing supply because so many people are moving here. Being between DFW and Austin, where traffic and congestion continue to be a problem, and we have a real affordable housing stock compared to those cities in Waco, it's really attractive. And I think a lot of people have learned that they can work remotely. And so we really plan to continue to aggressively leverage this opportunity and grow our economy. And if there's any listeners that are in DFW, Houston, or Austin that are thinking about opening up a business or relocating their business, Waco's a city where we're interested in being aggressive. We want to grow and incentivize and diversify our economy. And you're welcome in Waco, so come join us and be a part of the exciting things that are happening here.
Now, and I was going to ask you that. I got here in June of 2010. Craig 3 years later. Paul's been here much longer than that. But just the reputation of this city, how it's thriving in many, many ways, to watch that, and now you are in control of it, with your job and your title, what's that like, to see the difference in really almost a decade?
It is an honor to be able to contribute and serve Waco in this moment, because I think we really do have a really unique opportunity to grow our economy in a way that everyone can benefit. We want to grow small business. We want to support entrepreneurs. We want to attract tech and large business and bring in professional service jobs into our downtown. And and really build out a diversified, robust economy. And as DFW and Austin and San Antonio and Texas in general grows, Waco is a primed place for that. But I want to go back to just the idea that this is a team sport, and we have a lot of great people here. I am blessed to be able to play a role in this, but we have a really great, collaborative, smart team of people that are working in the city, the institution of the city, and in other nonprofits, our chambers of commerce, Startup Waco, foundations, nonprofits in this community that are really set up to ensure that our city continues to thrive and grow. And so to answer your question, it's a humbling opportunity to be in the role I'm in. But I also see myself just on a really great team of people. And I do think that we have a really bright future. Our economies continue to really grow in spite of this pandemic. The interest in Waco continues to be incredibly significant with exciting employers looking to bring jobs to this community. Texas is hot right now. That's what we're hearing. New York brokers are coming to Waco and DFW and Austin, real estate brokers, because they're saying everyone wants to be in Texas right now. Texas and Florida seem to be some hot states from a business growth perspective. And we're really excited and exploring what does it look like for Waco to grow and be a diversified place. Look, it's a great city. The commute times are short. I mean, you can get anywhere in this town in about 10 or 15 minutes. The cost of living is going to be significantly less. If you want to buy a great house in Waco, it's going to be a lot more affordable than some of the larger cities. And so there's an opportunity for us to really grow this economy in a way that everyone can benefit and grow the culture. And from where it is, there's a lot of exciting, fun things happening right now. And I think it's only going to get better.
Have you learned more about winterization than you ever thought you would?
Oh my goodness!
A short amount of time.
And water utility systems and treatment facilities, absolutely. Yeah, it has been a week of learning, no doubt. And again, it is in the spite of the challenges, it is just so I'm so thankful for a city team, a water utilities team that really understand the technical side of things, and it just shows you that you want to make sure that you have the smart, strategic folks on your team. To be able to address difficult moments when they come, because they will. And when they came this past week, our city was able to rise up and ensure that people had clean, drinkable water and come together in a million other ways. And I'm so proud of our city. If you're in Waco, if you're a Wacoan, it's a moment to be proud to be a Wacoan, and I'm thankful for that.
Dylan Meek, Mayor of Waco, one more question from me. You had to deal with the onset of the pandemic, and I know that not all the decisions made are always going to be popular. You had to deal with last week, and sometimes they're not popular. What's it like? Baylor, of course, football coach under pressure. If it's 4th and 1, do you go for whatever? Or Scott Drew, Kim Mulkey. What's it like when that decision has to be made, and you know you have to pull the trigger, even with a lot of people around you helping you out?
I think you bring that up. You put the smartest people in the room to help you make the right decision. You build a trusted team, so when that hard decision comes, you know that you have a good team around you to do that. You pray a lot. You make sure you're abiding in the Lord. And then the next morning you read some scripture and Man in the Arena by Teddy Roosevelt and keep moving to do their best right next thing. And we're gonna make mistakes along the way. Not every decision you're gonna make is gonna be perfect, but you own the mistakes you make and you improve and you keep moving. And so So I think that's probably the course of action that I've tried to take.
You hear that, Armstrong? Teddy Roosevelt. We have a debate over that. I'm a big Teddy Roosevelt fan. Armstrong, not so much historically. So you heard that right there.
You can't get away with that. That's the best speech ever, man.
Exactly.
Come on.
There you go.
Dylan, thank you very much.
My pleasure to be here.
I know it's. I can't imagine the phone ringing or whatever you got. And Baylor Law, obviously the relationship between Waco and Baylor has gotten so much.
It's so great.
Stronger.
That's right.
Not perfect, but stronger in the last 10 or 15 years as well.
Yep.
And I know that makes you proud as well. Thanks for your time, man.
Sic'em.
All right.
Appreciate you having me.
Dylan Meek, Mayor of Waco, with us on SicEm365 Radio. Coming up next, you talk about decision-making. We've got questions. Mack Rhoades, what did the Big 12 and why did they cancel Thursday's game with West Virginia? They've kind of answered that but why that game? Mack Rhoades will join us next on SicEm365 Radio.
The First National Bank of Central Texas, 5 locations here to serve you at home. And look, if things got crazy last week, if you if something happens to your house, if you need a loan to get something fixed, I mean, it was a weird week last week, and you want to have to have something done. Say you had some water damage you need to get a loan on. That's one of the places you need to go. You need to go to a local bank, because local banks care about you. They care about the people in their community, and that's who they are. 5 locations, like I said, here at home. Waco, Woodway, Hewitt, China Spring, Martin, Hillsboro. Familiar faces making local decisions here to help you, your family, and your business. Whether it's great times or tough times, all of us need a bank we can count on. Great people with great technology dedicated to their customers and helping our area grow. Safe banking in person, or use their online and mobile apps. Convenient drive-thru and ATMs at all locations. Again, if you've got something going on and you need help after this last week and you need a bank that's going to have your back, the First National Bank of Central Texas will absolutely do that. They always have, and they always will. 5 locations right here at home.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
It's time to be brutally honest with yourself. Look in the mirror or weigh yourself. Do you weigh as much, more, or less than you did before the holidays or a year ago? Why not start the year in better shape than how you ended it and create momentum for 2021 and help strip the negative vibes, tension, pressure, and extra pounds from the crazy of 2020? It's time right now to join Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness. It's so much more than a gym, including world-class tennis courts, lessons available with pros, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, personal training to get you over the hump. I promise you'll look better and feel better than ever before. Just need to walk through the front door. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Court. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp, spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation, a tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So make this your best and healthiest year ever. It's time to react today, not tomorrow. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jeweler, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Our weekly segment with Baylor Director of Athletics Mack Rhoades is brought to you by Edward Jones Investments Brokers, Tom Albers, Brad Wilson, Ben Erlinson, and Cam Heathcott. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
All right, we'll have Baylor Director of Athletics Mack Rhoades in a minute. Thanks to Dylan Meek, Waco Mayor, for jumping in the studio with us. Also, we'll have today John Jacobs, Baylor men's assistant coach. They play tonight against Iowa State. But as we wait for Mack to join us today, the Big 12, you kind of saw this kind of the smoke come out when Matt Norlander's report that the Baylor-West Virginia game Thursday would not be played. Had nothing to do with COVID. It had something to do with the philosophy within the Big 12 conference. Baylor plays Iowa State tonight. They play Kansas on the road Saturday. They play West Virginia on the road Tuesday, and then home games on Thursday and Sunday against Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. That's what they have left. That would get them to 14 games, which is a good number, which is the number I think that everyone thought from the beginning they would need to get to that number at some particular point. We're now joined by Baylor's Director of Athletics, Mack Rhoades, with us on SicEm365 Radio. And obviously, Mack, a lot of questions about the Big 12 changing, rearranging the schedule yet again. It looks as if you're going to get 5 games in. But why would they not want to play the game Thursday with West Virginia here at the Farrell Center?
Yeah, I think the probably primary concern was just playing 2 weeks, 3 games back to back, and that hardship on just not just us, but any teams that would have to do that. So that was the main driver, and for us, quite frankly, we probably caught a break just knowing what teams have gone through coming out of COVID, and I think it would have been really hard on our guys to play 3 just coming out of COVID the first week.
But aren't you going to play possibly 3 in a row in back-to-back weeks next week, and then if you keep winning at the tournament?
Yeah, and I think that absolutely you could do that, but stacking that up, right, the 6 games in the 2 weeks going into the conference tournament, I just feel like, the conference and certainly all of the Big 12 ADs, we felt like that was probably a bit much. And then again, for us, our circumstances in particular, I think it would have been really, really hard on our guys to play 3 just coming out of COVID.
Was this a pretty unanimous decision by the ADs in the Big 12?
Yeah, we had healthy discussion. It was presented to us this morning, and we had healthy discussion. And I'm not going to say that everybody thought it was a perfect solution, but we all moved it forward, and here we are.
So, Mack, what's it like to know that your men's basketball team's actually set to play a real live game later on tonight?
Yeah, you say that, Craig, right? You almost forget, right, that, and the last time we played was February 2nd. I mean, 21 days ago. That's a long time, to be out, right, with most of your team out, not being able to participate, not being able to do individuals. The night will be interesting. I would suspect that even for the guys that weren't impacted, that we're not going to be in great basketball shape. I was on the phone earlier with Coach Drew, and he said, "Hey, when you walk into the arena, right, have your head on a swivel, because I don't know where passes are going tonight, right? Just after 3 weeks of a layoff." So it's exciting. It's great that we're coming back. Again, wish we didn't have to go through all of that. The change in the schedule, right? It's just been, as we've all said, this is a unordinary, right, year. It's anything but normal, and this right here, the last 2 weeks really speaks to it.
Is everybody, do you know, as far as men's basketball? I know that Scott mentioned there might be some release about an hour before tip-off. We're getting close to that. Do you know if everybody's ready to go?
I don't know at this point in time. I haven't, my schedule today hasn't allowed me to check in, but certainly we won't be at full roster. We'll have some back, and those specifically, again, I've not received final word on yet.
Mack Rhoades, Director of Athletics at Baylor, with us on SicEm365 Radio. You're going to end up losing 4 home games, I believe. And you already had an edge of more road games than home games. Is that, even though there's going to be a road game you miss as well, is that something that you try to scratch and claw a little bit for to try to even that up?
Well, what we ask is that you get close, right? And at the end of the day, right now we're at 3-6, right? 3 home, 6 on the road of the 9 that we played, and we'll finish up at 6-8. And, so again, we ask that you could get to as close as that as possible. And I think, the league, Jeff Jackson did I think a tremendous job of trying to juggle all of that. There's some teams that, had played already 9 home games. I think UT was one of them. And so I know that they don't feel great about having to end their season with all of the road games. And so it was a hard jigsaw puzzle to put together. And, given our situation where we're going to, hopefully, we'll finish out, play all 5, and we'll end at 14 games, right? We asked that the conference could do the best that they could do. And, I know that Coach Drew and I are on the same page. We feel okay about the 6 and the 8. And, at the end of the year, right, we'll have 4 teams that played 18 games. We'll have 4 that played 17. We'll have, 1 that played 16 and then us that plays 14. And, so again, speaks to the abnormality of the year, and I think for us, Baylor men's basketball, I think this is about as good a place as we could have landed, just given our circumstances.
And just for the edification of our listeners, 14 games puts you comfortably, given your winning percentage at the end of the year, for conference title without any guff, right?
Yeah. The minimum to play and to qualify for the championship, right, was 13. So that will put us, again, at the mark or just 1 game above the mark. And so, we certainly feel good about that. And, again, the conference, I don't envy Jeff Jackson and Commissioner Bowles trying to put this together and make all of this fit. Obviously, weather canceled some games last week, and that added to the hardship. Our 3-week period of off and not being able to play obviously added to the hardship. So just a lot of moving pieces, and I think they put it together in the very, very best way they could, and certainly grateful to the conference, grateful to Jeff Jackson, grateful to Commissioner Bowlesby.
All right, if the minimum is 13 and you're going to get to 14, you're 9-0, and right now Oklahoma's 9-4. That's 4 games up in the loss column. Is there any kind of a magic number? Like if Baylor can win a couple of games here, don't they pretty much just seal everybody out, or haven't even gotten to that point?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a mathematical number out there, and I haven't pulled out my calculator today. But it's I don't know. I'd have to sit here and really look. But I think if we can finish out strong, right, and so part of this is big picture too. Part of it is not just we certainly, that's an ultimate goal. We haven't won the Big 12 championship, right? But we want to certainly win that. But the bigger picture too is making sure that our program's in good position going into the Big 12 tournament, and then certainly the NCAA tournament. And so we could afford to lose a couple and even more than that, and still win the championship potentially, and again, without doing the percentages, but for us, it's about just trying to get back to playing at an elite level, and how do we best do that over the course of the next 2 weeks.
Mack Rhoades with us on SicEm365 Radio. You've seen it all, haven't you? We just had the mayor of Waco inside the studio talking about, the icy conditions and whatever else. Go ahead, Craig.
I mean, you can go ahead with that. Grayson just sent me the text is way longer than I thought it was, but apparently the magic number's 2.
Yeah.
If they win 2 games, undisputed Big 12 champs. I was just going to pass that along.
Yeah, because Oklahoma's 9-4 no matter what they do. If you get to 11-0,
Kansas wins out. They still have 5 losses.
Yeah.
OU's only got 4, but they got 3 games left on the schedule. Yeah. So, Baylor would have to lose every game, basically, and the magic number, if Baylor wins tonight, would be 1. Now, that's not taking into account canceled games potentially and all that, but if they play 14, they should be good.
Yeah, good. So, well, and it does matter, Mac. I mean, they've never won a Big 12 title. The bigger picture, I understand, but they've never done that, and that's something you got to do that at some point to get that out of the way.
No doubt. It's something that, when you think about goals preseason, right? One of the first goals up on the grease board is win the Big 12 conference, regular season conference championship, right? And we haven't done that. So it is a big deal. I just ask that all of you keep that a secret and don't tell Scott Drew what the magic number is, because I told him we had to go 5-0 in order to win. So, and really that's our mindset. And I hadn't pulled out a calculator and I hadn't asked anybody what's the magic number, because, we're focused. I'm focused on let's beat an Iowa State team tonight that I know has struggled a little bit, but they had some stretches against Oklahoma over the weekend where they played really, really well, and so there'll be a handful tonight, and then get ready to go play at Kansas, who's found their groove again, and then you got to go right after that and play at West Virginia, and finally come home to close it out against a really good Oklahoma State team that wins in overtime over the weekend, and then finish it up with Texas Tech. So all tough challenges, but we'll take them one at a time. But for me, the magic number is 5. Let's win all 5.
Mack, Kevin Curtis, the new cornerbacks coach, with Brian Stewart leaving, you guys had to replace that spot. So your thoughts on who Dave Aranda was able to go out there and find, and Kevin Curtis bringing him over from SMU?
Well, one, I'm excited for Coach Aranda, because I know that he's thrilled to be reunited with Kevin. And as you all know, the history, he coached him at Texas Tech, and heard great things about Kevin and his reputation, not just as a cornerbacks coach, but as a leader of young men. And so I know Coach is. I'm certainly thrilled that Kevin and his wife Kayla and their son, Kevin, are joining our family. And he's done you look at his track record coaching cornerbacks. You think about La Tech, you think about SMU, right? And even before then, he's done a great job coaching cornerbacks. And that room, that position group has had great success under his leadership. And so expect him to do the same here, and look forward to him starting immediately with us.
Hey, I got a question for you. With all the things that have happened, some money that's lost, I know you guys have been able to weave through this, maneuver through it. You've talked about how you guys were ahead of the curve. Would Baylor ever look at putting any kind of corporate sponsor on any facility to make money?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly potentially a legitimate play for us. When I was at Houston, the new stadium there, the naming rights to that, right? TDECU was an opportunity, a corporate name, right? A company name that we were able to garner, and the same could happen here depending upon the facility.
Okay, because most everything is after a donor right now. I mean, it appears it was just something randomly. I was like, you never know, especially with Waco expanding the way they are.
Yeah. No, you're right, and I think a lot of that in terms of corporate naming rights to athletic facilities, right? I think so much of it is location, visibility. Right now, University of Houston, I think we were fortunate because that facility isn't on a major thoroughfare. It's not on a freeway, but that plays a big part of it, right? How many eyes see the brand, see the name, and so those are things that you consider when you think about a corporate naming partner.
Mack, did COVID scheduling kind of help you guys with baseball and softball and react to the snowpocalypse last week?
I'll tell you what, wow, what a week, number one. Just, trying to navigate that. And, I think to answer your question, yeah, it probably helped. I mean, baseball, really, really struggled to find an opponent. And obviously they finally did, but I mean, there were probably 10 different options, right? We weren't sure what condition our field was going to be in, right? Did we want to take a chance to play on it? Even if you waited until Sunday, and how bad do you tear it up? Right. And, now are you dealing with some long-term issues throughout the remainder of the year? And so, it was a challenge. Yes, it helped, but still a challenge, and just, grateful to all of our staff, our facilities crew, Henry Howard and Drew Pittman and Jonathan Berry, and on and on and on, all of them. But, just one pipe burst here, another there, right. Having to deal with that, handle all of that. Don Rogers, along with the rest of the executive team, did a great job in helping, try to manage that, right. There's this balance of, wanting to practice and stay competitive, but, safety first, right. And are we really asking people to drive in, right? When if we are, when do we ask them to come in? How do we manage facilities? We've got one indoor, right? How to do all of that. So, great challenge, but appreciate, our coaches, also their cooperation and understanding as well.
Mack, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Mack Rhoades with us, Director of Athletics.
Thank you all.
See you at the Farrell Center tonight, Iowa State in town. And before we I know that others are smarter in math. I'm pretty good at math. On the magic number, based on Oklahoma has 4 games left because they had this game with Texas rescheduled. They can get to 13-4. Baylor's 9-0. If Baylor didn't play another game, right, they can get to 13-4. If Baylor loses 4 games, Oklahoma can get to 13-4. Baylor would be at 10-4.
Well, maybe that's different from what Grayson sent me from Ashley. 14-4 is the ceiling for Oklahoma. So maybe they were counting an extra game there. I don't know, but he had them at 14-4. So even if Oklahoma's got 4 losses, they have 3 games left on the schedule.
4. They have Kansas State, Oklahoma State back-to-back, home and away, and then Texas next week.
Okay, so numbers are off between the two going back. Like there's a number missing somewhere. But regardless of that, if Kansas or if Oklahoma wins out, they'd have a 78% winning percentage, and Baylor would still have a 79% winning percentage, I believe, if they were to just go ahead and close it out the way we expect them to. So, I mean, it can kind of get bogged down into if this win and that win, but I mean, the basic deal is Baylor's magic number's 2. If they win tonight, which would be a shocker if they didn't, because it's the easiest team they'll play the rest of this year, then their magic number would be 1. And that's where they sit right now.
Yeah, get to 11-0, but that will, of course, not be easy. Neither will even tonight, coming off the long delay since February the 2nd when they were playing great football. When we come back, we'll discuss that with John Jacobs, assistant coach with Baylor, as they host Iowa State tonight. David Hellman, also the latest commit for Baylor football today at 5:15, and John McClain will join us at around 5:35, and we've just added Jay Goebel, women's coach. They've won 5 consecutive tournaments. He's going to join us around 5:50. This is SicEm365 Radio. Don's Humidor. They have cigars. They have CBD products. They've got the torch lighters, the cutters, and humidors to put the cigars in. If you struggle at night going to sleep restfully and peacefully and where you don't just constantly, if you've struggled with that, they have a product. It's in a little bottle. It's called Vita Dreams. It's gummies. And these gummies will relax you. And it's a CBD product. And when you have times go to sleep and you've got a lot in your mind and you just for some reason cannot shut it down, Vita Dreams will help you, believe me, shut it down. Go and ask Carol and Ashley at Don Humidor in the Southwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco. And if you do like to smoke cigars, I was down in Tampa, saw my two brothers, Robert and Mike. My other brother, Philip, couldn't make it over. Man, we went to a cigar bar, had a great time, smoked cigars. They would be absolutely in hog heaven if they walked into the 48-foot walk-in humidor at Don Humidor with the great brands of cigars from Macanudo to Cohiba to much more. It's Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center. Tell Carol and Ashley Smokey sent you, just off Valley Mills in Waco.
Get the vehicle you've been dreaming about at the President's Day event at Allen Samuels. The 2020 Dodge Charger SXT, ranked #1 in initial quality and driver appeal, has special values of $6,170 or 0% for 72 months, plus $3,000 in combo cash. The 2020 Dodge Charger is at the forefront of muscle car design. From the body to the wheels, it continues to impress. Visit the customer award-winning Allen Samuels, located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco, to see the 2020 Dodge Charger SXT. See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trust the doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rhoades Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long distance meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rhoades group meal.
Next in line.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
This segment on Baylor Athletics on SicEm365 Radio is brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, located at the Imperial Drive exit off Loop 340 in Waco. Proud supporters of all Baylor Athletics.
All right, here we go. This 4 o'clock hour. John Jacobs, Baylor assistant head coach, assistant basketball coach, with us on SicEm365 Radio. You know what your season's been like? I can't even imagine you're in the middle of it, but it's like a yo-yo. right? You just go up and you go down, you go in between it. What is it like? And here you are, yet another change, because no Thursday game, you're focused on Iowa State. And then next week you've got a new schedule. You kind of knew that was going to happen. What is it like managing all that?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hope you guys are doing well. And I think a yo-yo is a great example. I think there's a physical yo-yo that our players go through. It's hard for them to pause and then get back in shape, pause, get back in shape. I think there's an emotional yo-yo, the time apart, the time of dealing with COVID and quarantine, just the whole overall mental health of our players is a yo-yo. And then you got the yo-yo that Coach A.D. Aditya has to deal with when it comes to planes and travel and schedules and changes. So unfortunately, it's probably more than just one yo-yo. It's probably 4 yo-yos going on at once, and we're just doing the best we can not to get hit in the face by one of them.
Was your first practice back? I mean, I'm sure there was rust and all that, but was it maybe the best sloppy practice you could imagine?
Oh, it was like Christmas with all the wrapping paper on the floor. Like there was a little bit of mess to pick up, but it felt so good to be together and to actually have a little 5-on-5 happen and to be a family that you almost didn't notice. And we expected the practice to have ups and downs, and the whole season you've got to adjust how you coach, how positive and negative you are, when you choose to be negative. But the overall feel is to stay positive and do the best you can and just take each day as it comes. But I can't tell you how great it was to be back together.
Coach, I know that each individual case is a different story, but if there's a generalization, I guess, that you could describe for a player or players who are coming back from having dealt with the pause and having dealt with coronavirus. And again, I know every case is different, but what's kind of the general thing that you see as far as working them back into shape? What do you have to watch out for?
Yeah, every individual responds differently. You know, some will take a couple games even to get back. Some felt like it was back for them quicker. And everybody's experience over our time away was different. You know, some people had longer quarantines than others. But I think it's pretty common for a coach when your lungs and your legs go, oftentimes you stop talking. And when you stop talking on defense, that's a problem. Turnovers start to kind of go through the roof because the guys start thinking they can do things that maybe they can't. And the passing can get sloppy. And then just your ability to run as hard as you can and remember scouts sets. And your brain, when your lungs go, your brain kind of goes with it, and you don't realize it. And so getting to the point where you can think at the pace in which our guys thought prior, you can hold a scout, you can memorize your sets, you can know your responsibilities, and then you can run through those, talk through those, and then not get tired. It's a different kind of conditioning to play basketball, I think, than people realize. So I think we've done a good job of doing the best we can over the last couple of days, but some of it we're still going to be working through even as we play games.
John, we just had Mack Rhoades on, and he thinks that perhaps because of the new schedule with no game Thursday, and I know tonight you're focused right now on Iowa State, but with no game Thursday and then at Kansas, that maybe that was somewhat of a break. Instead of going Tuesday, Thursday, on the road Saturday, did you look at it in any way that way, even though you're going to have to play 3 games, you hope, that are scheduled for next week?
Yeah, I think for us it's a balance because our guys want to play as often as we can, but then we want to make sure we take care of them mentally and physically. And then at the same time, I don't think as a coaching staff we get a vote. So as far as the changes to the games, whether we play 5 or 6, whether the 3-game week was this week or it was next week, that's why Mack is so great at his job and is such a great leader, and him and Dawn take such great care of us. That's for them to kind of deal with. I think for us, now that we know we have a break, we can adjust what we're going to do Wednesday. We can address how we're going to handle practice. We can talk about what our first day of scout will be with Kansas rather than making it feel like an every other day rush. But for us, that's tomorrow. And today we're playing in Iowa State, and we're happy to have Mack and others in our program with us, pulling the rope in the same direction and taking care of us. And they can kind of focus on that. For now, we just want to win tonight, go 1-0, and then we'll use the break the best we can the next 3 days.
Obviously, Iowa State struggled mightily, but they've had some decent-looking stretches in games here. They had a really good stretch against you guys when you played them the first time. Is this where teams like them are the most dangerous towards the end of the year, where they're backed into a corner a little bit?
Yeah, they don't quit. I mean, they were down 21 at home to Oklahoma just the last game, and you looked up in the first half, you look up in the second half, and they're in the lead. I think twice we took over a 10-point lead at their place, and all of a sudden we were down 2 in the second half. So even 3 times I think we pushed it over to 10, and they don't quit. You see them going to halftime, they change their starting lineup. You see them show a 1-2-2 back to a zone. The one thing that they're not doing is they're not giving up. So whether it's a lineup change, an adjustment to go 4 guards, an adjustment to how they're playing ball screen coverages, you can see that the staff in general is really bought into taking the season and getting the most out of it. And we really respect them, and we respect the way they've handled that. And so for us, we know there could be 2 or 3 plans we see tonight. They adjusted their plan. The first time that we played them at their place, it was completely different ball screen coverage than they have been doing in the past. So between their scouting ability, the coaching ability, and the fact that they haven't given up, we know we're gonna get their best punch today, and that's what we expect.
I don't expect you to, not even if you accidentally did, I would stop you, but I know that you're not full throttle tonight. Do you feel like you have enough in the gas tank?
We're going to give it our best shot. I don't know what that looks like. What I do know is that Davion, Maceo, J.D., Mark, Flo, our guys that have started, they're doing a great job. And at the end of the day, we have old guys. And when you combine old guys with some maturity and some culture and enough humility for them to know that they may have to sit longer on the bench tonight, the rotations may change, that tonight may feel and look different than they expected, that maybe their first shot doesn't go in, and so we're going to have to fight harder for second shots. Maybe the pace of play will have to be adjusted because we can only run for so long. Maybe we'll have to change the way we use our timeouts. So I don't care if the tank is on empty or full. If you work for Scott True and you believe in joy, you're going to go ahead and just take whatever gas you have in a tank and go for it. And I think that's just how we'll address tonight. We're going to go for it.
You know, John, I spoke with you. It's been a couple of weeks or so. You dealt with COVID, and I know that now you've seen others who have dealt with it. How much of sharing or trying to stay in touch have those who've had it been with you on how you dealt with it, or any kind of suggestions?
Yeah, we can't get into who has and hasn't had it.
Right.
But I can say that because I went through it and I know what that 10 days feels like, some others that have gone through it on our staff, I've FaceTime them, I call them, I connect with them. The best thing anybody needs when they're alone or going through something is people to be in their life and stand by their side. And what kind of program would we be if we only talk about loving each other when we play basketball and we didn't do a good job of that away from the floor? So as much as you can, just talking, staying in touch. If anybody isn't here, we FaceTime them in. We're always including them. Coach Drew is about as family-oriented a head coach as you're going to find. So love and time together, those are 2 really big things, even when you're going through something alone. And I think that we provide that even in our distance through technology about as good as any program could.
Paul asked you this earlier just about playing a game. You guys are playing tonight. What will it be like if things go well enough where you have more points and you win the game? Will it be almost a sense of release just to get this one out of the way with a victory?
I don't know that we are allowing ourselves to look at the opportunities we get as something we would get out of the way. I think because we lost last season, that this is really like almost an 11 to 12 month adjustment for us. I mean, we've been adjusting to this for a really long time at this point. So we tend to view it as everything is a gift. And how can we enjoy this gift? How can we have no fear while we're living through the gift? And then how can our guys feel the fact that we're not scared, they shouldn't be scared, and that we can play with complete freedom and joy? So I don't know that we ever want to address it as how can we just get past this one and get some rest. I think we really want to enjoy this. I think we want to get the most out of it, and we want to play our best. And there's a real happiness to playing on ESPN and having King McClure do our game and see one of our old players up there, and all that comes with being part of Baylor basketball. So I think we're going to view it as a gift, and we're not just going to try to get through it. We're going to try to enjoy every second of it.
Great way to put it, man. Thank you, John. Appreciate your time. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks for having me and all you do. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
You too. We have had, David K. We've DTA Malhotra, of course. Remember, it was about a week or so ago, kind of explaining how they weaved, maneuvered, however you want to say, handle the schedule, and to get it changed again today. So if you're now joining us and you haven't been quite up to date on what's happening, Baylor tonight against Iowa State. Thursday's game against West Virginia at home is now out. Not going to play that game, but they will continue to play the game Saturday at Kansas, then next week at West Virginia, Tuesday, home Thursday, Sunday against Oklahoma State, and then also the last game of the year, they'll close it out with a home game against Texas Tech, who's now 6-7 overall.
They traded Kansas for Texas Tech because Kansas was supposed to be the last game of the season initially, wasn't it?
Well, they're playing on Saturday.
Yeah, but I mean, that was supposed to be sometime in March in the first schedule, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
So I think they trade. Yeah,
that's right. They moved it around. They're not going to play West Virginia at home. They're going to lose 4 home games in all this, but they're going to get to possibly 14 games. And now tonight that clock starts. Take care of your business, win the conference, and get better, healthier, and in great basketball shape. Coming up, David Hellman, and then a young man. We got to find out his peanut butter and jelly intake since we got that yesterday from Colton Price. Big tight end from College Park will join us. Well, Hank up. Can't wait to talk to Cody and then John McClain and Jay Goebel. All of that in the 5 o'clock hour next on SicEm365 Radio.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Waco's newest gym, Halo Athletic Center, 5725 Bagby Avenue, right behind Region 12 and across the highway from the Central Texas Marketplace, where motivation, inspiration, and hard work are the driving force. State-of-the-art equipment, indoor and outdoor track, locker rooms, showers, yoga and bar classes by Duality Yoga, bod pod potty composition analysis, and registered dietitians, all under one roof, where we rise above. Come join the Halo Athletic Center and be a part of the change. Your change. Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Welcome back to Sic'em365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with David Hellman of DallasCowboys.com.
Over 900 yards of offense as Dalton gets it into the hands of C.D. Lamb. And he takes it in for another Cowboys touchdown. And an exclamation point here in Week 16.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Ben Erlinson, who'll navigate you through today's financial climate. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
We've heard from Scott Drew, Jared Butler, Casey Keeler at Sam Houston State, Kevin Gill of MCC, Dylan Meek, Mack Rhoades, John Jacobs, and now David Hellman, DallasCowboys.com, joins on Sic'em365 Radio. All right, so the never-ending clock ticking, but eventually it has to end. What is the timeline, in your opinion, of what happens with Dak and the Cowboys? And I'm tired of asking you that question.
I mean, honestly, I keep telling people, like, now I'm excited to talk about it because now we're kind of, we're getting down to brass tacks finally, which – nothing is really different. The franchise tag window opened today, which means the Cowboys have 2 weeks to place the tag on Dak or sign him to a long-term deal. Now, do they have to do that? Not necessarily, because I think anybody with a brain realizes that even if a deal can't be done, they'll tag Dak. Like, that'll happen. But now we'll see just how badly these two sides want something to happen. Because if everybody's on the same page and they want it to happen, it would be in everybody's best interest to get it done in these next 2 weeks before you have to use the tag. And if that doesn't happen, now you're talking about April and thinking, well, do we need to think about our future? Do we need to consider drafting a quarterback? And so, famous last words, because obviously everybody's been very wrong about this the entire time, but if Dak's going to get a deal, I really feel like it's going to happen in the next 2 to 4 weeks. Or maybe it won't happen at all. So, like I said, it's finally nut cutting time after 2 years of talking about it.
Does that mean that the negotiations might be a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but everybody kind of will know where everything stands then because it is nut cutting time?
The funny thing is, time and time again, we see like this is just really never hard when everybody wants to be on the same page. Like DeMarcus Lawrence and the front office went back and forth for like 3 months, and then when everybody got their act together, they hammered out a deal in like a day and a half. Same thing with Pete. Like we did this 6-week song and dance at training camp, and we got right up to the season. And when the Cowboys realized they wanted to have him ready for week 1, they got it done in like overnight. So yeah, I mean, I think how quickly or how smoothly this comes together will say a lot. Like if we, logic says that you should be able to hammer this thing out over the next 2 weeks if everybody wants Dak to be here. And if it carries on past that, it's just hard to believe anybody when they say they want it to happen. So yeah, I'll be surprised. And I'm not trying to say that a deal is definitely going to get done, but like if there's not at least some movement, actions speak louder than words, right?
No, they definitely do. And David, what can they really do until Dak's contract is signed? Because that's going to take up so much space. Are they kind of in a holding pattern as far as, free agency and things like that, as far as planning until that's, official or not official, I guess?
That's a really good point, too. And, I mean, if they were hell-bent on doing it, they probably could. You can restructure some contracts to free up some space. But, yeah, until otherwise notified, you gotta keep $38 million on the books so you can tag Dak if you need to. So, yeah, I mean, the league year opens on the 17th, and, we know the Cowboys probably aren't going to be major players for big-name free agents, but they are going to need to add talent to this team. You have to every year, and it's going to be hard to do that if your quarterback's eating up $38 million of the cap. And obviously, if he gets a long-term deal, it'll still be a big number, but spreading that out over a few years allows you to push it down. So absolutely, I mean, that's the first domino, and it's hard to imagine them piecing this team together the way they want to until they either sign him long-term or find a way to move on. And so, yeah, that's why, this is priority number one. I think you got to get it sorted out first.
And in the end, whatever they do, you mentioned $38 million, whatever they do, how much money can they save if it all lands correctly in the Cowboys' favor? $3 or $4 million in a year?
Yeah, it's hard to know that. It depends on the length of the contract. It depends on the structure of the contract. But like I said, even if you sign him long term, the number's still going to be pretty large. Like I would have to imagine it's going to be north of 2025. But if you sign, depending on the length of the deal, we know that Dak wants 4 and the team wants 5, but there's various ways you can play around with that. You can push the number down a good bit depending on how you want to structure it. So even if it is like this record-setting deal, you could still buy yourself a decent amount of cap space. Again, not the type of space that's going to let you chase the best players in the game, but can at least allow you to spend a little money to improve your roster.
So, David, do you have like draft scenario A and B based on this? Like when you're preparing for the draft, as far as your job of doing the draft show and everything you guys do there, of if they have to address quarterback or if they don't?
Absolutely. And I love to joke, like they don't listen to me. They don't care what I think. But that's what I keep saying is like, okay, honestly, at the end of the day, the tag deadline doesn't mean that much, right? Because even if you tag Dak, you have until July to sort out. I think I've said this on y'all's shows before. They don't pick in the top 10 very often. I know the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in a long time, but they're also not that terrible often either. Like they've only picked in the top 10 9 times in Jerry Jones' tenure of 30-plus years. So if they don't get Dak signed, and they allow themselves to go into this draft with a top 10 pick and not consider drafting a quarterback, knowing that Dak is very likely headed for free agency next spring, that's just insane. That is just an absolutely awful way to run a football team if you know that you don't have a good shot of keeping your quarterback and you pass on the opportunity to draft another one with a top 10 pick. And that's why I think maybe it doesn't have to be March 9th, but by mid-April, they need to know what's happening with Dak. We're either going to play him on this 1-year tag and move on, and we should draft a quarterback, or we're going to sign him long-term, and we're going to know that going in. Because, I mean, maybe they get the deal done in July, but I sure as hell wouldn't. So that's why I think here in the next month, they got to figure it out. And, you know, I mean, if they don't want to sign him, that's their prerogative, but they got to be ready to take, you know, appropriate measures if they decide they don't want to do that.
David, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hopefully, as you said, the door's open. Here we go. Time is ticking, 2 weeks or so. And,
well, at least we got a countdown clock of some sort because, man, you know, I say it every time we start talking about Dak. We've been discussing this for 2 years, if not longer at this point. So it's good to know that there's actually something that's going to come to a head, you know, in the next few months. We're not going to be talking about this in 2022. You know what I mean? It's gonna get done or it's not going to get done. And this game, this dance that they've been doing now for 2 years, nearly 3, will finally be over one way or the other. I can't believe it's even at this point. Like, I know we got to go and talk about some other stuff, but, like, the fact that they're still dealing with this, does that, like, not surprise y'all a little bit?
They gave Sam Hurd a 4-year extension just because he asked.
Still dealing with this?
I mean,
every other team in the league either decides, like, you know what, we're going to go draft a guy and we don't feel like we got the guy, or they lock him down. Yep. It's one or the other. It's not like this long, drawn-out, salary cap this, tag that, 2 years, 3. I mean, it's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's numbing to me, and I got to tell you, when he signs, what he does, okay, you know, he's going to be there another year, maybe 5. I don't know. Just get it done one way or the other. When we come back, Cody Mladenka, who's from College Park High School. He's a tight end. A lot of good stuff from him. Cody Mladenka is coming up next. He's committed to Baylor from College Park High School on SicEm365 Radio.
Richard Carr, Buick GMC Cadillac. They've got savings galore at Richard Carr right now, and they've got friendly customer service as well. They pride themselves on their customer service. That's why for nearly the entire last year, because that's how long we've been going through this pandemic, they've been offering to not only have you show up to the showroom, but also to, of course, have them bring the test drives to you, because that's what they do. They're all about customer service at Richard Carr, but they're also about great deals as well, and they have a lot of great deals right now with the New Year, New Ride Savings event. You've maybe gotten your stimulus or your refund check. Government gave you some of your cash back. Well, you can take that and multiply it with the savings at Richard Carr, like a 2018 GMC Sierra or a 2019 Buick Encore for $16,800. You can get an almost new 2020 Honda Civic for $21,900, plus payments on late model cars and trucks for under $200 a month for qualified buyers. And they have hundreds of used cars and trucks priced to move during the New Year, New Ride Savings event. Another deal they've got going on right now is 0% for 72 months on a new 2021 Buick Encore with payments as low as $318 a month and no money down. Or you can get a money-saving lease on the stylish, intelligent, and nimble 2021 Buick Encore GX Preferred with on-the-go Alexa technology for only $293 a month for qualified buyers. During the New Year, New Ride Savings event, all pre-owned cars and trucks are priced to move with amazing deals. So maybe your credit's as bad as 2020, but in this new year of 2021, 100% credit approval is Richard Carr's goal. So again, bring your tax refund or your stimulus check, and they will help you stimulate your stimulus and get you into a great ride. Go to Richard Carr Motors today for details and a test drive, or log on to Richard Carr, that's KARR.com, and have them bring the test drive to you. Make 2021 the best year ever, starting with a new car or truck during the New Year, New Ride Savings event at Richard Carr.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones Whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new Lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Has the trucks, man, they have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man, he has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The Sic'em365 Radio app is sponsored by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
All right, Baylor has had a nice little run the last few days, and we've been able to talk to Colton Price. Had a chance to visit with him, the young offensive tackle or defensive lineman that was on with us yesterday. And now Cody Ladenka joins us from College Park High School. Cody, I've been working on that last name since I talked to your mom earlier today, and I screwed it up anyway. I apologize for that. How many people butcher your last name like I just did?
Pretty much everybody, honestly. Every sub I've ever had, they always give it their best shot. I would say probably 5% get on the first try.
Mladenka is the name. That's Cody. He can see him on, again, Zoom right now. Why Baylor? What was it about Baylor that made this decision for you and made it now?
I think, honestly, probably just, the hybrid of, high academics, high athletics, and also, the religious aspect is very important to me.
So Coach Jeff Grimes comes in, and they've, the tight end position's kind of been a strange thing here for a while. Cody, what did you hear from the offensive staff about the way they intend to use you as a tight end?
Well, first of all, Coach Grimes being the OC, so I would assume he would, enjoy tight ends himself. He's talked about, what they did at BYU and how they're going to utilize me a lot more, than the last few years. So I'm excited to see how that goes. He said, he loves throwing to tight ends. He's done it year after year. So
Yes, sir.
How would you describe your game, Cody? What kind of a player are you? And obviously, tight ends come in different shapes, sizes, skill sets. How would you break down your own game?
That's a tough one. I mean, I enjoy blocking. It's something I enjoy doing, which I don't know if, not every tight end nowadays can say that. I feel like I feel like I'm consistent, with my catching and stuff. Our coach started throwing jump balls towards the end of the year, and I don't know, I feel like I have a pretty good percentage on those, just I don't know, a good like hybrid. I don't know, I guess. Yes, sir.
We had Colton Price on yesterday. He's 6'4", about 275. He said how many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, Paul?
All of them?
Like whatever's in front of him.
By the loaf?
We've had Greg Roberts, who played defensive line at Baylor at one point, I think consumed 12 to 16. Now, you like donuts. I think you used to be able to get a box of donuts if you hit a home run when you played Little League Baseball. How many, if you did eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, would you consume in a day?
In a day?
Yeah.
Man, I would say probably like at least 3, in a sitting.
In a sitting?
Yeah, I feel like that's a reasonable amount. I mean, how much peanut butter are we putting on there?
I mean, you go like, you got to go corner to corner, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, probably a lot.
Chunky or
yeah,
smooth?
So I guess,
yeah, chunky. Oh yeah.
It's definitely smooth. I don't know about the chunky.
Yeah, it's not done, right? Doesn't it feel like that's not done? That's just peanut butter. They're like,
just
that's
put it
good
in the bottle,
enough.
Yeah, it adds a weird consistency.
By the way, it definitely does. By the way, he's talking about jump balls a second ago. Is that a picture of you, I assume, on the behind you on that wall? Is that one of those big jump ball catches that you had right there?
Actually, yes, sir. That was my sophomore year. I don't know. My parents did it. My dad came home with a Walgreens poster. I'll be honest with you that I didn't come down with that one, but it was definitely a cool picture.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it is a cool picture.
You shouldn't have told us that.
Yeah.
We thought it was
I know. I gotta be honest.
I'm glad it's good to be honest though, Cody, but sometimes it let the legend grow a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay. So you were supposed to end up being a hell of a baseball player, and you were, and you went deep into, I think one time you played not in Williamsport, but played in the World Series and were good at it. What changed your mind to football?
I feel like, I don't know, I played my freshman year. I didn't enjoy it as much. I feel like it's a little slow, at times. And I just enjoy the physicality that comes with football,
I'm going to bring up a story that I know that you used to play catch out in front of the house. But I was told that you used to play catch out in front of the house in the street, right? Played football?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Football, baseball, you name it.
Yeah, can you tell me the story about one time, I don't know if it was your mother, Brooke, or your father, but they threw the ball to you, you came down with it, scraped the hell out of your knees, and got all scabbed up. And you remember what you said to whoever threw the pass?
It was a good diver. That's what we used to call them, divers. Yes, sir.
In the street,
that's what I was thinking. It probably wasn't a great idea, but it happened. So, and the ball ended up in my arms. So.
Yeah, you made the catch. Heck, yeah.
Well, hey, if you do diving catches in the street, you have no problem on the football field. That's
although
a nice little cushion.
That's like the old AstroTurf back in the day. That's what it was like playing on the street as well. Cody Ledenka is on with us from College Park, tight end committed to Baylor on SicEm365 Radio.
So, Cody, what's kind of, your high school football experience been like? Obviously, a weird year last year. What's sort of the plan for you this offseason? What are you eyeing as far as, now that you have your commitment behind you? Are you going to be dabbling much in, keeping up with recruiting and game-wise? What are you working on?
As far as recruiting is concerned, I think I'll probably slow down, at least for now. Just focus on Baylor. Game-wise, just kind of keep on doing what I'm doing, lifting, practicing footwork, practicing catching, typical stuff. It's a weird year with COVID and all, but I don't know, we really haven't been hindered too much in terms of the weightlifting and stuff like that. So just try and do what I do,
Sometimes when you play a sport and you've played a bunch and then you get injured, you realize how much you love a specific sport. What was it like to be without football one year when you tore your ACL? I don't know if you tore it, but you injured your ACL and you had to miss a year. What was that like for you? Did you realize then What was it like to miss football?
You start to take it for granted. You don't really realize how much you enjoy something until you can't have it anymore. So that was a long time ago. Now that you say that, but I can't even describe it. I don't know. It only happens, once a year. You only get to play once a year. So missing out the whole year was really awful. You got to wait a whole another year till the next season. It kind of puts a chip on your shoulder, though. So
absolutely does. You broke your wrist one time or cracked it?
Cracked it. Yes, sir.
What about when you were playing around in the parking lot at Walmart? What did you do then?
Oh man, I was me and my buddies were racing to the car actually, and I was running through like one of the medians, and there was like a big hole where like a tree used to be, and I stepped in there and like popped my ankle badly, sprained or whatever. That was not a good deal.
How close did you get to winning?
I was at the car. It was like I fell into the car.
So you won.
I stepped in the hole. Yeah.
Hey,
at least you won.
It's like catching a pass in the street. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to go get the scab, but you caught it.
I think Jeff Grimes or Dave Aranda sent him an email after this saying, "No more street ball for you. No more parking lot games for you, Cody.
You can play on grass and field turf.
Yeah.
Those are your two.
No more racing in the Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
You may not remember this, but I'm going to find out if you at all recall when you were younger, like 3. Like, I can't remember much when I was 3. I can't remember much when I was 60. But your mother was having a conversation with somebody, and you kind of had a habit of interrupting her, trying to get her attention. Do you remember what you said to her when she told you, Cody, it's not about you?
No, honestly, I don't.
Listen to this. So Cody's about 2 or 3 years old. And she says to him, she was talking to another adult. Don't interrupt me when I'm talking to another adult. It's not about you. And you said to your mother, oh, so it's about you?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I believe it. I believe I did say that.
God. Yeah, go do that now and see how much.
It's a nice response from a 3-year-old.
Yeah. That's when she knew. She told me that's when your mother Brooke said, "Oh my God, we're in trouble. We got a tough one." But you're not someone that gets in trouble. You're pretty easy to get along with, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't try anything like that nowadays. No, sir. Yeah,
you'd get backhanded pretty quickly, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably so.
Where did the nickname Dinks come into play?
From our Little League football kind of thing, SCFL. I don't know. It's just my coach started calling me Dinks because Mladinka. I don't know. It sounds cool.
Okay.
It's like dink. It's like a noise that like a helmet, I guess, makes against another one. So, yeah.
Craig asked about your recruiting. Now that you're committed, do you just not even return calls of anybody else? Do you focus just on whatever it can be now?
I think like at least for the time being, for sure. I don't know. I really haven't thought too much, about that. I'll probably, I don't know. I'd have to talk to my parents about that one. Baylor's my pick right now for sure.
Cody, do you know many players on the team, or do you have any previous relationships, or is the team itself kind of just all sort of strangers to you? Or are there any previous friendships, perhaps, maybe guys you camped with?
No, not that I know of. Okay. Kelsey Johnson reached out and he welcomed me via text, but that's about it.
Okay, well, and he's another guy that was being recruited as a tight end, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir, yeah.
You mentioned Grimes and Mateos, of course, coming in from Brigham Young. How much does their history of what they did or what they did with the tight ends and play it as far as Grimes, how much in the end was that a difference maker? You said it kind of was, but how much?
I think it was a huge difference because, I would like to go somewhere where not only am I going to play or have the opportunity of playing, but have the opportunity to excel, and I feel like, Coach Grimes, especially, I can't see that not happening for sure.
All right. So you're committed to Baylor, but you're still not so sure. You still kind of let this process play itself out.
Not necessarily. No, This is the first time, obviously, that I've gone through it. I don't know anyone who has gone through it really, or like I don't have like a brother that's gone through it, or like a best friend. So I really don't know what the next step is right now. I mean, I'm just going to focus on Baylor, like I said, but I don't know.
What's it like to get it out of the way?
Oh, it's a relief for sure. I feel like it's a weight lifted off my shoulders. Making a decision this early, I don't really have to like think super hard. I just picked what my gut said, and I'm gonna ride it through.
What was it like to win the district championship? Because College Park has had very little success along the way.
It was incredible, honestly. I think relating back to Coach Grimes coming to Baylor, or like just all the coaches that are coming to Baylor recently. It's kind of the same thing that like with Coach Madison, who came to College Park. He worked to change the culture, and then as the culture changed, we got more successful. And it's like these last 4 years, I've just been working to this moment. We beat our rivals. We won the district championship. It was like a movie,
Cody, thanks for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you, Coach.
Cody Ledenka of College Park, the tight end who committed to Baylor. Appreciate that. Great stuff getting him on Zoom. Appreciate the time from his parents giving us some nuggets about him playing catch in the street, about the ankle in the Walmart parking lot, and many more things. When we come back, John McClain, Hall of Fame writer, and then Jay Goebel, women's golf at Baylor's won 5 consecutive tournaments. He'll join us, SicEm365 Radio.
If you are in the market for a new home or you're trying to sell the one you're in, you need to contact my good friend Lance Donaldson. Known Lance a long time. And the Lance Donaldson family team brokered by eXp Realty, 254-214-3713. Browse all his fantastic listings that he's got. And look, you're going to have fun looking for houses with Lance. It's a very stressful thing. The one thing I will tell you about picking a realtor is you want someone who can navigate the market and knows the market really well, which Lance has. That's the chief thing. 2, you want someone who can kind of hear what you want and apply that to that market that he knows so well. That's also Lance. And 3, and this one is going to feel like it's the most important because you got to look at a lot of places. Somebody who's going to have fun with you doing it, because you're going to have to be fun. It's a stressful thing. You're about to make the biggest purchase of your life. Unless you're like merging billion-dollar companies. For most people, the biggest purchase of your life is going to be your home that you're going to live in with your family. So you want someone who's going to take the pressure off you. That's what Lance Donaldson can do. 254-214-3713 or online, lancedonaldson.exprealty.com.
During the President's Day event, Allen Samuels has special pricing on a new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited with values up to $3,250 or 0% for 72 months, plus $1,000 in combo cash. Or a 2021 Jeep Cherokee. The new Latitude Plus has up to $6,000 in total values or 0% interest for 72 months and $1,250 in combo cash. Allen Samuels award-winning customer service. The best place to find your next SUV. Located at 201 West Loop 340. Allen Samuels is your friend in the car business.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
In Texas, there's pea-size hail and baseball-size hail. Guess which one hit our house? We didn't even know where to begin, but we called our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent, and he was so reassuring. He knew exactly what to do to get our house back into shape and our lives back to normal. Now, we're even more thankful for the roof over our heads.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with John McClain of the Houston Chronicle, brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus, and best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects, with 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
All right, we're joined by Hall of Fame writer John McClain. Joins us on SicEm365 Radio. So, John, have the Texans started to weed out some of the guys to help save some salary cap space?
Not yet. They've made some moves, but it's not anybody that is going to save them much money. They're about, depending on what the cap is, I think the cap will end up at least $185 million, and as it stands now, they'd be a little over $10 million under the cap. And if they get these new network TV deals done, and they're trying to get it done by the start of the league year on March 17th, but the reports are they're over $1 billion a year difference in the negotiations with ESPN, and ESPN's contract expires after the 2021 season. The rest expire after 2022. They were hoping to have all of them redone and pushing the revenue to more than $100 billion, and that would up the salary cap because nobody, the teams, the union, nobody wants a bunch of players, especially veterans, being cut because of the cap. Now, they didn't make as much money last year because they only sold like 10 or 15,000 tickets, unless you're Jerry Jones. But they did make more money in TV revenue. And so hopefully that'll be reflected in the new cap, and it won't be 180, the new floor. It'll be closer to 185. So other teams, because there's a lot of teams that have cap problems led by New Orleans, and they're going to have to make a lot of moves, whether it's cutting players or whether it's restructuring contracts, which only pushes the problem into the future. But everybody is assuming that even though the cap has gone down this year, ordinarily it would have jumped from 198 to about 210. So if it's 185, that's still a big difference from 210, that things would return to normal in 2022. So restructure them and push some of that into the next year or two when it would be easier to stomach if you cut players. So the Texans and Cowboys, everybody, are going to be making a lot of moves as we get closer to the start of the free agency on March 17th.
Do you think the Texans will franchise Will Fuller?
I do not. The problem is Will Fuller, who was having a great season last year, best of his career, healthy for the first time, got suspended for the last 5 games for violating the league's performance-enhancing drugs. Also, the first game of next season. And so his contract expires. It cost him, that suspension cost him several $1 million. And now, if they were to franchise him, it would cost them a little over $16 million a year. You could put the transition tag on him. That would be the average salary of the top 10 rather than the top 5. And then you could keep a right of first refusal, but that would be $14 million. And if you do that, that comes out of your salary cap. And so that wipes it all out right there. So it wouldn't surprise me if they transition him. You got 15 days to do that. And don't you guys love talking about Dak Prescott and another franchise tag? Yeah. Or will they or won't they re-sign him to a new contract? But I think Fuller, if they don't, I think he's gone. There's no way he's going to re-sign with this team, especially knowing he might not have Deshaun Watson. Maybe he waits on Watson, but I have to see if he gets traded. But if Fuller leaves, they might get a 3rd-round pick. But this team's going to be terrible. So when you commit big money to a player that the team's going to be bad for a couple of years, you might be better off letting him walk and signing, say, 2 players to take his place.
John, is there really anything new with J.J. Watt? I saw where he had a very random tweet about mitochondria, and that sent NFL fans into trying to break down whether that meant something, like that he's going to the Bills, or is he just kind of taking his time at this point, or I guess people are still trying to figure things out?
Something to keep in mind here, Craig, is Watt, when he came out of high school in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a suburb of Milwaukee, he was a 2-star athlete. People should keep things like that in mind when they see all these 5-star athletes. And he walked on at Central Michigan as a tight end, bombed out. Walked on at Wisconsin, became a star in the NFL. He became a superstar. So he's never been recruited. This is the first time he's ever been recruited. And so I'm sure he's enjoying the process. His agent, Tom Condon, is fielding calls. And even though he's not looking to break the bank, teams want to know what the salary cap is before they determine how much money they can commit to Watt. And all I know is he wants to play with a winner, and he wants to play for a coach and an organization that will allow him to have fun again.
How come it's taken so long to announce their coaching staff?
Because they still haven't completed it. They still have some assistant position coaches, quality control coaches, and we all know who the coaches are. We've already run them, and they're all. I'm writing right now about David Culley. I've never seen a head coach get, once he's hired, so little attention as David Culley has. So he's working behind the scenes with coaches, watching tape from last season. They're trying to convey to the personnel people what they're looking for at each position as they have new coaches coming in. But at some point, I keep thinking every week they will announce their staff, make them available to the media, but so far they haven't done it.
Paul? Yep. Craig? John? Your basketball team gets back in action tonight. Now, they're not going to play Thursday against West Virginia, but they do play. Five games are left now that they've rescheduled everything between now and next week.
Well, first of all, it's good to see them back. You hope they can stay back. And they've had a lot of rest, so they're not tired. But I think we'd be naive to think they just come out and tear it up, consider the long layoff. And they've been slow starting sometimes anyway. They're lucky they're playing Iowa State, but I would expect it to be a blowout, especially in the second half. And best of luck to them and the Baylor women and all the other Baylor sports, because remember, Sic'em.
There you go, man. Always appreciate it. John McClain, such a good dude. He's good. He's good, always great insight. His memory is insane. His storytelling is fantastic. And we appreciate John McClain. Oh, I didn't ask him about Amy Palchik. She was hired by the Texans, or the Jaguars, former Texans VP of Communications. That was another one of those people that left.
Yeah, that was Urban Meyer announced that, and I don't know, maybe it was the position that she's filling or it's the fact that she's a female, but I just found it really kind of not weird is not the right word, but just kind of weird. I guess weird is the right word. It's a word I'm going to have to use here. Weird that Urban Meyer would be commenting on a hire like that. You know what I mean? Yep. So not sure of the level of importance there, or if it's the fact it's a female behind the scenes, which the NFL is trying to work on along with minority hires. So we'll have to, I guess, hold that one on to next week. But a lot going on with the Texans. They're going to look an awfully lot unlike what we've seen the last few years, because probably going to be no J.J. Watt. I mean, that seems done. And Deshaun Watson, I mean, that still waits to play out as well.
As he said, they're going to be terrible. That's just didn't beat around the bush. All right, so tonight, Baylor men, they'll play Iowa State, 7 o'clock tip. We'll hear shortly about who's going to start, who's available. Women tomorrow night against Oklahoma State. The softball team has added a doubleheader at Louisiana to play on Thursday, starting Thursday on March the 4th. That's not this week, but next. Macy Oteague, a West Award finalist. Dee Richards, not a surprise. Naismith, National Defensive Player of the Year, semifinalist. She won that last year. And by the way, here comes women's golf. In the Icon Invitational, they've won 5 consecutive tournaments. Jay Goebel, the head coach, joins us on SicEm365 Radio. You are, as a team, playing extremely well. Your thoughts, Jay, on just where you are right now as a team?
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, we're moving it right now. It's been really fun to watch the team this whole year, actually, and we feel really lucky to continue to be able to play, but to continue to play at the level we're playing at right now, it's a lot of special stuff going on.
Momentum is hard to grab at any sport, but golf and team golf has got to be really hard to grab. What's been the key for you guys riding the wave so well?
I think it all stems back to everybody, working really hard to, play well for themselves. I mean, golf is such an individual game anyway, but, the players I have right now are all really motivated to do well personally. And in golf, if they're intrinsically motivated to go do a good job for themselves, they're going to, in turn, help their team play well. And, we just have a lot of players that have really high goals for golf and for themselves. And it's really cool to see, especially, our whole team played great today. We had, 3 rounds of 69 and 2 rounds of 70. So all 5 of our players shot under par today in the lineup, which is pretty amazing.
Coach, for those who don't follow golf all that closely, who are some of the names to know from your program, or some of the ladies that you could highlight?
Our top 5 players are all playing exceptionally well right now. Gerlin Core is going to play in the Augusta National Women's Am coming up here in a few months at Augusta National. And then Elodie Chapelet she's our 6-year senior. She got an extra year back with COVID. She's one of the top-ranked players in the world. I have 3 freshmen in my lineup who have played fantastic the whole year. Their names are Britta Snyder, Rosie Belsham, and Hannah Carr. And they've all played amazing this entire year. And, again, to see them work as hard as they are and play as well as they are right now is, again, to win 5 tournaments in a row is unheard of. And to watch it's been really fun.
You won by, I think, 5, 24 under. LSU was 19 under. It was a two-team race. But how about Snyder closing with birdie to pretty much just like, okay. I mean, that's just clutch as you can. And I know that Chapelet had birdie 17 and 18, but Britta Snyder went birdie to close out hers.
Yeah, she's a true freshman, and she was actually in the U.S. She was ranked number 1 in her recruiting class, and we've known that she can play golf, but she is definitely stepping it up to another level. And to watch her, shoot 65 yesterday in the afternoon was unreal. She had 7 birdies and an eagle yesterday, and then to get on that little roll to finish. We actually, as a team, the last 4 holes we had 9 birdies, combined. So, we were one shot behind LSU with 4 to go.
Wow.
And then just flipped it on them. So, which was, it just shows that, every shot matters, and you have to, give every shot the entire day its respect. And they did. They went out and made those birdies coming in. It was really cool.
I know a couple of the golfers struggled a little bit more, but everybody on your team had a birdie today. And, of course, Snyder had 6 of them. Belsham had 5, 6 for Karg, 5 for Chapelet. I could just keep going on, 4 for Lang. So here's what I guess my last question. You've won 5 consecutive tournaments. LSU's 19 under. You're 24 under. Oklahoma State was under double digits as well.
Yes.
TCU finished 3 under in 4th. Everybody else was even or well over par. You dominated that course.
Yeah, like I said, man, they prepare to go out there and win individually every day, and to see the work that they're putting in to get ready. I mean, they want to continue this streak, and it shows in their work ethic. It shows in what they're doing back home in Waco, and I'm just excited to keep taking them on the road and see what they can do. So we have another tournament in South Carolina this weekend we leave for. So sure we're going to, get a little bit of rest, get a little bit of schoolwork done, and we hit the road Saturday morning.
All right, Jay. I'm sorry. Good luck where you're going. I know you're traveling a lot. Stay safe. Appreciate your time. And, man, what a nice run you're on.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You too. That's
Sic'em
Jay Goebel, women's tennis. Tennis, of course, both of them. Golf coach, and they win it by 5. How about that? They birdied how many? 8 or 9 birdies in the last 4 holes. It's pretty good to flip a really good team at LSU. Paul and his top 5 at 5:55.
All right, Smokey. I don't know if you're going to agree with some of these, but these are my favorite because of the tragic situation with Tiger Woods right now and the car accident, what he's having to deal with and going through surgery and all that. I just thought I would bring up top 5 Tiger Woods highlights memories.
Hey, Jack, is he dead? I mean, we're doing this. It's a wreck.
Yeah, but I mean, I brought it up. I mean,
this is this is
but
morbid.
Look, he may not play again.
Oh, no, there's a really good, you're right. We've seen him come back from a torn ACL and win the U.S. Open with a Achilles, whatever it was, and a broken leg. We've seen him come back from major issues with his back. We've seen him come back from personal issues. Ben Hogan, one of the greatest of all time, had a horrific car wreck, and he came back to eventually dominate again. But, man.
He was still young, though. I mean, Tiger's 45.
I don't know what Hogan's age was when he had the wreck, but he came back and played. But, okay.
Yeah. All right.
This is going to make me sad.
All right. Number 5, the perfect chip at the 2005 Masters.
Yeah, I was there.
This one right here?
Yeah. He was up in the back left. Had to hit. No, it was incredible. And he eventually held off Chris DeMarco and won it.
A dirty, disgusting Florida Gator at that. Number 4, the perfect shot at the 2002 PGA. This was, according to him, this is the best shot he's ever hit, which is out of the bunker and into the hole. I believe it was his 3rd shot for an eagle.
I don't remember this one.
Yeah. But yeah, so I looked, I did some research on this. This was he says this is the best shot he's ever hit.
Wow.
Because it was out of a bunker and then eagled.
Was that when he beat Bob May in that thrilling down to the wire crate? Yeah, that was an amazing, I think they may have gone to the playoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Number 3, the Tiger Slam in 2001. I don't know if anybody's ever do this again.
Winning all 4 majors at one time, although it wasn't what is considered the Grand Slam.
Yeah, no, but he had that to the Tiger Slam there, and that was number 3. Number 2,
we're behind here.
Yeah, we're behind
there
in
you
the
go.
graphic a little bit. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. Tiger Slam. That means he held all 4 majors, but unfortunately, he was not able to have all of them in one year because that would be even more rare.
Number 2, and this was a tough one, but 97 Masters, the first win for him in the 97 Masters, where the world kind of fell in love with Tiger. At least for as long as they were in love with him before.
What he did in his first round, he was kind of shaky. And then he ended up winning by, 12 or 15 strokes, whatever, some stupid number.
Yeah.
All right.
I might do another one later on, which is top 5 cool stories. Well, I'll include that one about Phil Mickelson at the Masters where Tiger was just toying with him.
Speaking of which, here's a tweet from Mickelson before we get to number one. We're all pulling for you, Tiger. We are so sorry that you and your family are going through this tough time. Everyone hopes and prays for your full and speedy recovery.
All right, yeah, and that's great from Phil to hear that.
Well, I mean, they really have.
Because they're in a different place in their lives now.
Yeah, of course. That's what happens with age.
Yeah. And number one, which is one of my favorite sports moments of all time, the 2019 Masters. Because, and I thought this just because his kids, his golf was, to hear about it, and I don't want to put it this way, was it like, oh, yeah, back in the day I was great. Well, okay. I mean, this is why you have all this cool stuff, guys. But
I haven't cried since September of 2015, and you're going to try to make me do it.
But that one, to me, was just amazing. Like
it was out of nowhere.
It was out of nowhere.
I never thought he'd win another major.
And with especially with Charlie sitting there, like on the end of the 18th green, when he looked at his kids, and I was like,
hell, forget them. It was about you and me.
It was, yeah.
It's about winning for all of us who stuck with him. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way that, when he was walking down the 18th fairway, and you knew it was about to happen, and you're like, oh my gosh, finally.
Although his drive on 18, he kind of cut it around that corner, but he was a little blocked out, had to hit it short front right off in that big slope. You know what was great about that win? You always heard this one. People always find something negative about even greatness. Well, he's never had to come from behind because he used to dominate. He grabbed a hold of it. He came from behind in that final round when everyone melted down at number 12, the par 3, Koepka in the water, right? Mm-hmm. Finau in the water. What's his name? The guy that he was going head-to-head with. From England was, I believe, from England was in the water as well. Okay, all right.
Armstrong, do you have a problem with any of these?
No. I don't have a mic.
Oh, you don't have a mic? It's still plugged in from the mayor? Okay, good deal. I wanted to make sure I didn't leave anything important out.
No, I don't really have a problem with this. And I am kind of in the generation where I don't really remember Tiger's reign, right? I was interested in golf after Tiger started not playing well, so I don't really have the Tiger opinion for you, unfortunately.
It's like talking about Babe Ruth.
It was Italy's Francesco Molinari, who's the one that also hit it in the water. Francesco Molinari. He hit it in the water on 12 as well. Craig, do you have a favorite?
He got mad.
Tiger? Right? I mean, that was 19 was pretty impressive.
19 was very impressive.
No, I'm not a golf fan, really, so I can't cite all these tournaments and these moments. And, I remember watching Tiger and watching him down the backstretch and, seeing him win the Masters, what was that, a couple years ago now?
Yeah.
Was really cool. But, golf's not really my game. So what I catch here and there is just really more general. And I'm a Tiger fan. Hate to hear the news today, although he appears to be doing okay. And apparently there's not any, drunken driving or pill popping, at least as of now, that it appears to be, which is what everybody's big concern outside of just his health was. But, you guys could have said 5 fictional tournaments, and I would have been like, okay, sure. You could have told me he won the Masters in 84. I'd have been okay.
I remember when he won the 2019 Masters, the thing I was thinking about was, I can't believe he's going to win this in a turtleneck. Because if you remember, his shirt had no collar. Do you remember that?
He wears
That was my thought.
Not like the ones that went up your neck, like back in the 70s.
Yeah, but it was like it's like a half turtleneck, and I was like, this is just bad luck.
When you have a body and a chest like he does, you can wear a mock turtleneck, right?
It's got to have a collar.
That
was my thought.
There's a 500, there was a chip in, and I think at Bay Hill or at the Memorial, whatever. But I'll tell you another one. You and I were in Atlanta. He had been out. He had been injured. And it would have been one of those Baylor Elite 8 runs against Kentucky that got knocked out. But he won at the Bay Hill. He hadn't won in a while. And he won at Bay Hill. You and I, we both, I think, maybe did a real awkward man hug.
Yeah.
Maybe inside the hotel room.
Yeah,
We're getting deeper than that.
It was.
But at the putt against Rocco Mediate that got forced to play off the next day at the 2008 U.S. Open, which was his only major until he won the Masters just a couple of years ago. All right. Okay.
I'm still mad at Y.E. Yang to this day. Good for him, but
yeah, that was kind of he tigered Tiger.
That's one we don't have because of you, buddy, for your one moment in the sun.
Yeah. Scott Drew, Jared Butler, Casey Keeler, Kevin Gill.
All right, JTT's not playing tonight. That's one note, it looks like.
That's a big deal, man.
Following players not available: Jonathan Chachua, Jordan Turner, and Mark Patterson. So not nearly as grave as what you thought it might be as far as players missing, because it could have been Maceo Teague or, we knew it wasn't going to be Jared Butler because he was in the media session. But, yeah, JTT is out tonight. Jordan Turner was also out tonight, and that's it, looks like.
The chum with Chachua is because of the inside, and you hope doesn't mean he can't play Saturday against Kansas. They're going to need him. Turner, of course, a freshman. I think is it a freshman guard? Maybe. And then Patterson's the one that had the block in that blowout win against Kansas State, I think it was, that everyone went nuts over. So, all right, thanks to, again, all of our guests. Thank you, all of you who are part of the text line today, including Scotty and Brandon, Stephen, Carl, Gunny, T-Rex, and Daniel as well. Thank you very much to Armstrong and Jack for Paul Catalina. I will try to do what I can to get rid of these damn hiccups by the end of the night. For Craig, I'm David Smoak, SicEm365 Radio. Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. And this football season, you need to stop by on game day for curbside pickup or stop by their tent next to SicEm365 at Brazos Parking for your pregame refreshment. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been proudly serving Texans across the state for over 60 years. Call 254-772-8090 to find an agent who will provide a free review of your auto, home, and life coverage.